Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Way of the Brush with me, your host, Kris, aka The Name Butcher, aka Hey You, Get Off My Lawn, aka Kris, you are being creepy again. Way of the Brush, the most informative 120 minutes on the internet on the wargaming lifestyle. We'll talk about painting, terrain, conversions, and everything under the sun. If you're a first-time viewer, we do a lot of painting talk as well as a lot of what's under the sun, meaning no topics are barred. We'll talk about anything and everything, so be warned. And of course, if you are attending live, you can ask your questions in the chat, whichever direction it might be in for you. And if you're watching this after the fact, you can send your questions and emails and whatever. If you're going to send pictures, send them as attachments in the email and send them to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. Wayofthebrush.com is also in the description below, and its central hub of all the cinemas has the links for all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling 24/7 there. So if you need help or just want to show off what you're working on, join us on Discord, and we're more than happy to welcome brand new people into the fold and into our nice little community that we've built there. Of course, at wayofthebrush.com is also links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world. They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And if you've purchased yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Sometimes. Sometimes you're like, whoa. No, I'm just kidding. Everybody who's considering sending a picture now is like, no, I'm not sending a picture now. Screw it. I'm not. Everybody's going to make fun of me. Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. I'm independent, and that's pretty much how I keep this channel and everything else running. It allows me to continue to do the work that I do, to educate and inform and entertain sometimes. So Patreon is a way to help. There are varying tiers to support at, so just head on over. I think a Patreon link is also in the description below as well. So you're helping me out tremendously, and a big thank you to all my patrons who currently support. Huge thank you. Without you guys, just wouldn't have made it this far. And so hopefully, with more patrons, we will go further. And I do have goals in mind for moving forward, but yeah. That's a discussion for another time. Or maybe today. Who knows? And if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, you can help me out tremendously by liking, commenting, subscribing, following, sharing the video. Just basically any and all interactions help the video and channel as well. So you're helping me out tremendously. And all it takes is a couple clicks of a button and you're helping me out a great deal. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guymere Alfer, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. Always take the time to thank Carl for taking the time out of his busy day to create the email jingles that play before the email segments of the show. So always much love to Carl. And of course, speaking of love, much love to my baby brother Evan for creating the intro-outro music that plays at the beginning and ending of the show. Always much love to him because, he's my baby bro. And he's a very talented individual. And if you also want to check out some of the stuff that he does, he sells online comics as well, and he sells rarities and just all sorts of stuff. He's got he's up to his eyeballs in comics, and of course music. What else? That's pretty much it. That's all he is, just two-dimensional. Oh, he's gonna kill me for that one. Who's joining us today? I can see Greenleaf Terrain first. You're first. Fire Drake 18. Ebb and Flow. What's up, everybody? Greenleaf Terrain. Are you the same Kris from Mini Wargaming? Am I the same Kris? No, I'm not the same Kris. That Kris died. Fire Drake 18. Sup. Eric Fountain. Good morning, Kris and Monkeys. Morning. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Monkey time. Hee. The didgeridoo. I always want to say digger or didger. Dirk Diggler. G'day, Kris and Monkeys. Hope everyone is doing well on this fine day. It is a fine day. It's a little humid in my parts. We had rain last night, so woke up this morning and it's humid. And, I've talked about many times that my favorite weather is when it's sunny, but the air is cool and low humidity. So there's lots of humidity. The sun is out. which means it's gonna be a warm one today. It's gonna be sticky. Oh, it's all sticky. Greenleaf Terrain, Kris. I'm fangirling outside your house at the moment. Woo! I got a sign. Streamers, air horn. I don't hear anything. No, I don't hear air horns blowing. You lie. You lie. Don't turn my house into a house of lies. Arturo Patet. Hello, my little monkeys. Hello. Hello. Doc Commission. Hi, Kris and fellow monkeys. Hi. Aaron Seach. Howdy, Kris and monkeys. Happy Saturday. Happy Saturday indeed. Greg Gurman. Hey, Kris. Hey. Hi, all you monkeys. Dave Patelia. There he is. Good morning, Kris and my fellow monkeys. Yeah, it's pretty early for you, isn't it? Oh, it's about 9 for your time. 9 or 4? 9 or 4. Wow. 9 or 8, one of the two. But either way. Greg Gurman, great name. For Didgeridoo. Fire Dragon Dean, speaking of comics, GW has a comic. Yes, I saw that. That they are... Oh, it is 9 for you? Okay. I did see that they're doing a comic. Now, they've done the foray into comics a couple times. I think once or twice they've done the comic thing. They did a graphic novel. Everybody remember Inferno? That was a graphic novel situation, which was really cool. I never got a subscription to it, mainly because back when it came out, I was kind of getting out of comics and graphic novels, and also too, I mean, at that time, I think when that was around, I just really didn't have the extra cash for something like that, to get a subscription to. I was interested in it, but I just, at the time, I just didn't have the resources, right? And yeah, there was something else. There was another comic. I want to know, because there was a Blood Angels comic. I know it was part of Inferno, but I thought there was a comic as well. Correct me if I'm wrong, people, but I thought the Blood Angels one was also a comic. Yeah, like on its own. But yeah, I mean, like, it's not the first time they've done comics. I don't even know if this is the first time they've teamed up with Marvel. But yeah, so it's pretty cool. And you never know. I mean, like, if it takes off, becomes very popular, if they create a very interesting universe and tell some compelling stories about the characters and stuff like that, you never know. I mean, like, obviously GW has been making this push towards more outlets for their IP, right? And I mean, it's obviously a natural progression. I mean, I'm sure that there's talks for TV shows and movies, features, what I mean, like stuff like that. And who knows? Who absolutely knows? It's exciting. I mean, I would totally dig, even a mini series of anything and everything from like the Horus Heresy to like based on the written material, like the books, the novels, all that. Horus Heresy, I mean, like you could create a huge series, like a mini series telling. I mean, a mini series could be like 8 pieces just on one book. And you know what I mean? And you have tons and tons. But I mean, like, people got to tune into it. So the characters have to be interesting, relatable, and, tell a compelling story, right? Is that really something that's out there, right? So who knows? And I mean, if we look at something like Game of Thrones or something like that, I mean, might have to have a little bit of sex in there. Might have to have some coarse language, might have to have an R rating, and, it seems like a lot of the IP type stuff that they've been pushing into the mass media has been more PG and lower, and that's reliant upon the kids getting into it. And, is it something that the kids are into? Because 40K is dark. It's about a dark future, right? It's not a happy thing. And that's and the fact that is the case, that is because it's a child of the 80s, the early 80s, right? So, maybe it only appeals to a certain group. All of us who were kids in the 80s, we know 40K fondly, right? Not fondling, fondly. Being creepy again. Ghost Star Man Deluxe. Kris has evolved. I have evolved. I'm constantly evolving. I'm constantly changing form and growing. I'm not the same guy I was when I was a younger fella. If I was still that same guy, I'd be an even bigger asshole up here on camera right now. On your screen, there'd be an even bigger knob, jerk, dickhead, douchebag, So, yeah, I'm working on it. Sometimes, though, I see people, and it's like, oh, you freaking dummy. Just, and I can feel old Kris coming back. It's like, oh, you slimy dog. Like, you ignorant little, Anyway. Because back in the day, I mean, like, if people threw racist comments at me or made racist jokes around me or anything like that, I would have immediately kicked the shit out of them. But I've grown. I've evolved. And I don't do that no more. Because I know there's lots of people out there who definitely need their ass kicked. Joshua Donovan, hey Kris, haven't tried it yet, but bought that mini vortex machine for stirring my paints. You posted the video on Facebook. Cool. Give it a try. Hopefully you enjoy it. Like I said, like that one I picked up, that one is a bit pricey, but I really like it, and the feature I liked most of it, or most about it, was the larger footprint on it, because obviously that helps with stability, but it does about the same amount of liquid, and it has a higher RPM than the little smaller one. But the smaller one, as far as I understand, is really great. So, and I mean, like, the company that produces that, the one I bought, produces also that smaller version. And I also seen some larger ones, but I was like, when I'm shopping, I go, okay, I got an idea. Oh, okay, here's the smallest, cheapest version. What's the most biggest and industrial sized version of it, and can we acquire that one? And then I find the middle ground somewhere where I'm happy with performance and what have you versus cost, right? So that's the way my brain usually works. I usually look at all the extremes, and then I usually end up shooting for some sort of compromise in the middle. Anthony B, Shotgun Beers. Also, Newcrons. Did GW post any new... oh, yeah, because it's Saturday, right? So GWs usually posts pre-order stuff. What's going up for pre-order these days? I don't even know. I see a book, Titan Death, by Guy Haley. What's Titan Death? Oh, it's got a picture of an Imperator Titan on the front. That's cool. Some novels. Oh, right, the High Elf, or Lumineth. The Lumineth Realm Lords army set. It's not a terrible price for what you get, because you get a big old character. You get two big old characters. You get a unit and some cavalry. You get the dice tokens, the widgets, counters, even the army book. For that price, I'd pay that price. I'd pay that price. It's not a bad price. I mean, here's where we are with miniature wargaming. Not even batting an eye at a price tag like $200 and some for miniatures, little plastic miniatures. That's where we are. That's the world we live in, folks. It's first world problems. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. I have Inferno issue number 2 that had the Blood Angel stuff on it. I think I still have my Inferno sitting around here. Or maybe I don't. Or maybe I do. Yeah, I do. Here we go. Yeah, look at it. I still have an old Citadel journal sitting here, number 18. And yeah, I have an Inferno, issue 1. Inferno, issue 1. And I thought for sure, yeah, this old Blood Angels one. Yeah, it was like had a really fantastic. I don't know if you guys can see that well, but let me see here if I can frame this up so it looks okay. Yeah, you can kind of see the art style. Like, it's really, really fun. I don't know if they're gonna go with that similar art style, but yeah. But Inferno was like, a bunch of short stories. Oh yeah, look at this. These were from clips. They had a promotional video for Space Hulk, and so they had costumes made up and everything like that. Doesn't that just look freaking awesome? Like, that Space Wolf armor is just balls. Yeah, there used to be a lot of fun little things back there. I used to really enjoy, well, I still do, the artwork here. That's a Wayne England. And I used to love his art. Well, I still do love his art style. His iconic image of the Crux Terminatus. This was my favorite. What else do we got here? Got a little map of the old world. Got some sort of space marine here. This one's definitely like a Marvel style drawing. But anyway, yeah. So it's exciting. These exciting times. Doing the comic book thing. Oh yeah, this is definitely another Wayne England right there, eh? You can tell by the way he did the skulls. I said, man, like his work still inspires me, man. Still inspires me. It's unfortunate that he left this world. But anyway. I never knew the guy. It's not like I was close personal friends with him or anything like that. I just knew him through his work. I was a fan of his efforts. Anywho. Raziel, yo monkeys, yo. Stephen Ladder, first time watching live, woot, woot. Heretic Scott over on Twitch, hey monkeys, how we doing this fine Friday? Friday? Huh? Am I doing a show a day early? George Hintz, hello all, hello. Firedrag 18, I want Frank Miller's talents with this comic, but I also want the world. Ross Evans, hey Kris and monkeys, hey. Anthony B, Frank Miller comics, yes, yeah, Frank Miller, yeah. Imagine Frank Miller doing a 40K story. Wouldn't that be cool? Ooh, that's exciting, isn't it? The thought of that. Just, like GW, just commission Frank Miller to do, a short story on 40K. I mean, he would have to be pretty steeped in it to, find something. Because, I mean, there's tons of angles to tell a story. And, I mean, like, and just let him tell whatever. Even if it's R-rated and, you know what I mean? Like, just let him tell the story. Rezio. Sometimes I think Frank Miller and sometimes I like Frank Miller and sometimes I think he's awful and can't write crap. No in between. Sure, I mean, like, that's that's any artist really. I mean, like, sometimes they knock it right out of the park, and then sometimes you gotta bench them. Dr. Santos, hello monkeys and Kris, hello. David Vega, what up monkeys, what up? Joshua Donovan, the footprint was part of the reason I got it. It was a bit pricey, but I had some Amazon credits to take care of the total a bit. Oh, cool. Okay, yeah, there you go. You see, you find your deals, right? And I mean, I'm happy with it. And it does a great job. In about a minute on it, like a solid 60 seconds, it shook up even like GW paint. You can hear the GW paint starting to move around, like sloshing. Thin body paints, Vallejo, Turbo Dork, any of the contrast paint, stuff like that. Yeah, that moves immediately, and you can hear that sloshing really quickly. Scale 75, some of the opaque colors are a little bit thick, and it takes a moment, but then all of a sudden you'll start to hear the sloshing. Yeah, if you have an agitator in your paint, it gets moving real good. Where am I? I'm just moving ahead some of these comments here. Arturo Patet, Kris, after last week's talk about the best paints, I bought a Sakura acrylic color, titanium white, and diluted the damn thing with medium and retardant. It's pretty close to ceramite white. Right, but you had to do a bunch of steps. That's what I'm saying. Like, see, if you got to do a bunch of steps to make it the same as, it's not the same as. You can either take it right out of the bottle and apply it, and it's the same, or it's not. Right? Not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just, it's just a thing. It's just the way it is, man. It's just the way it is. Rezio, Wayne England is awesome. Was, yes. Dr. Santos, Wayne England, all the way. Yes, definitely. TH, hi, people. Hi. Hi. Rezio, there's a Wayne England piece of an Ultramarine chaplain. I swear it looks more like Chaos. Oh, definitely. His art style was was distinct. It was. Man, I don't even know how. It was more illustrative than it was any kind of realistic rendering, and even things that were good, like supposedly good. But as we know, in 40K, the Imperium is not good. They're not the good guys. They're just the ones that we can kind of relate to in this crazy ass universe that is in. The whole thing really is a narrative in a third person perspective, or third person type of story. It's telling first person stories in that universe and trying to tell a story of a good person would be heartbreaking, realistically. And maybe that would be a compelling story as well. But, yeah. Interesting, anyway. But yeah, Wayne England style, though, yeah, he was awesome. I like this style. His style of creating, like, really what it was, and what I think was, like, I mean, I'm probably wrong, but it's just my opinion. But I think one of his greatest strengths was when he was creating the little shorthand icons, you know? When he was creating those iconic pieces for the Orcs, the Eldar, Chaos, Space Marines. Like, when he was creating all those little iconic bits, man, I think that was his thing. And I imagine, too, that he probably could whip those things up pretty darn fast. Not to say that he had any shorthand, it's just that, you know, when a master becomes proficient in their style, they can move through and convey multiple ideas very quickly, you know? And so I imagine he probably worked pretty quickly. And he could pump those out to that level very, very quickly, in comparison to somebody else who's, you know, trying to duplicate what he was doing. And I mean, he can give you, yeah, I'm sure he can probably do a lot. Anywho, man, Heretic Scott. Oh dear, did I say Friday? Not enough sleep. Dean Goldstein. Hey, Kris and everyone. I spelled your name correct this time, Kris. Thanks. Sir Peanut Butter. Morning, Kris and peeps. Morning. Joshua Donovan. The pictures of the guys in the Space Wolf armor were from the VHS GW put out way back in the day. I can't remember the name, but I saw it on another channel, Snipe and Wub, during a retrospective review. Yeah. Yeah, I'm sure if you YouTube it, I'm sure you can pull it up. And I think also they might have done the cutscenes from Final Liberation, the computer game Final Liberation. I think they probably did the cutscenes probably a similar time as well, because that has some really great little cinematics in it. Dated now, but at the time they were freaking kick-ass, man. Those were awesome. Yeah, just a commissar walking around in a Space Marine, you know. It was cool. It was cool, man. Like, you know, we've all wanted a live-action Space Marine movie for ages, right? So, you know. Anyway. Dean Goldstein. Salamanders and Space Wolves are the closest to being good. Sure. Joshua Donovan. Yeah, trying to determine who the good guys are in 40K is kind of impossible. It is. It is. Because how good can Salamanders and Space Wolves truly be if they live within the Imperium? If they're part of the Imperium, are they truly good guys? But maybe that is the commentary on 40K. That even these guys who we might perceive as being heroic or good, even though they live within an oppressive regime, human rights are trampled every nanosecond within that environment. Can they truly be good guys if they are complicit in that system? Right? What is that saying about for evil to win, all it takes is for good people to do nothing? Right? Is the Imperium that? And is that the lesson of 40K? Anyway, it's kind of like when, you know, you hear racist comments about, like, X-Men, you know? And it's like, X-Men, you know, like, they're talking about, like, well, no, this character can't be this color, or that they can't be that color. It's like, I hear these stupid arguments all the time. And it's like, I don't think you got what X-Men was about. X-Men was about racism. And so saying that somebody, a particular, like, making Charles Xavier, I've talked about this with my son, because there was a tweet a while back that, you know, who would make an excellent Magneto, and I thought this was a fantastic idea, is Denzel Washington. Fantacular actor. And yeah, he would make an awesome Magneto. you would change, the background of the character, but growing up with similar pain and trauma is what makes Magneto, right? And you can have Denzel Washington, and he grew up during the civil rights movement, and he was a part of it, and and he lived through it, and he traumatized through those times, and and you can create a compelling thing. And then I thought, okay, well then if you have that change to a Magneto, then what change do you make to Xavier? Do you have him? Like, why would Magneto be friends with Xavier? And so I was talking back and forth with my son, and we came up with that. What if Xavier was a woman, a Caucasian woman, but a woman who, same way, she's still in a chair and everything like that, but they became friends because she was part of the civil rights movement as well, and that's how they became friends, and they moved forward. So anywho, yeah, I thought that was really cool. I saw the tweet a long time ago, and that spurred off a whole bunch of, that'd be really great. Denzel as Magneto. I thought that'd be freaking awesome, Anyway. Dr. Xantos, Imperium not the good guys. Please report to your nearest commissar for questioning. Yeah, exactly. Oh man. Where am I? Jeez, there's all sorts of comments here. Heretic Scott, Washington is a great actor. He's so captivating to watch in so many of his roles. Oh, absolutely. I mean, does he knock it out of the park every time? No. Does it seem like he might be phoning it in sometimes? Maybe. I don't know. That's up for debate. But, is everything stellar with that guy? And not all the time. But he's got more wins than he has losses. So, he's got a really good batting average. Ebb and Flow, episode 302. Denzel Washington is fantacular. Yeah, that's it. That's what we're going for. You know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna run with that one. That's it. Unless it's kind of like Starship Troopers. Unless of course you find somebody better, or he's dead. I just watched Starship Troopers again for the first time in a very long time. Watched Starship Troopers, and that show just it's kind of like that. It's kind of like that cheap box wine. When it first came out, it was like box wine. It was like a box of wine. And anybody who drinks wine knows box wine. Come on. I mean, there's some good stuff, but generally, I don't know. Anyway, but Starship Troopers is kind of like that, where it's a box wine, but then somewhere along the lines, it makes that transition into quality, and it actually had something to say, and we missed the point back in its day. It's kind of like that. It's one of those things. I don't know what that is, but somebody who's much smarter than me will let me know what that is. Dr. Xantos, Denzel Washington as an Age of Apocalypse Magneto. Oh, that would be a blast. Yeah, David Vega, Kris, do you make your airbrush flow improver? No. Or do you use store-bought? And why? Thanks. Why thanks? And why? Like, why do I use store-bought? Well, airbrush flow improver. Okay, well, I just use airbrush mediums, like thinners. Just airbrush thinners. The term flow improver gets thrown around a lot, and I use Flow Aid, Liquitex Flow Aid, to thin the paint down, to give it the proper surface tension so it flows and falls within recesses and everything like that. That's what I use Flow Improver for, or Flow Aid. I don't use Flow Improver, because Flow Improver versus thinner, are we talking about two different things, or are we talking about the same thing, right? So I only use thinners, and for thinners, it kind of depends on what paint I'm using, but I often will use, like here, let me grab my thinners. I've got a few that I use. There we go. Yeah, and here we go. All right. it for thinners? Oh, and then then of course you can use. No, never mind. We won't go there. You can use alcohol as well. But is that it for thinners? That might be it for thinners at the moment. Anyway, okay. So, real quick, not a lot of you guys are using this stuff, but I use. It's not airbrush thinner, but it's super liquidy, and I mean, like it'll like to run through an airbrush. The thinner doesn't have to be airbrush. You know what I mean? It's just like regular Citadel paint will flow through an airbrush. You just have to ramp up the PSI and use a larger needle, but it'll move through the airbrush, right? Thinning it down will help it flow, but any paint, as long as it's liquid, will flow through an airbrush. If it's thick like honey, you're going to turn the PSI up. If it's really thin like water, then you can work in close and turn the PSI way down, and you know what I mean, and get in closer to a piece, and anyway. So for Tamiya stuff, because it's often alcohol based, I use this to thin down Tamiya colors and stuff like that. When I'm using my golden paints, I often will use the golden thinner, just because of the way this interacts with some of the other water-based acrylics. It introduces a little bit of slowing to the drying for whatever reason. Whereas when I use it with golden, with the high flow line, I don't notice any slowing of drying times. And also, this adds a bit of a glossy finish to the paint. So I only really use this with my golden colors. So it brings us to these two. I will often use AK Interactive or Testors Aztec. Now this Testors Aztec, if you ever notice in some videos that I'm using an acrylic thinner in the airbrush or whatever for like Citadel colors, I often use this one. This one is very, very watery. And well, the AK is very watery. They're all very watery. And, they're all very comparable. But I find I often use this one with the Citadel colors just because. I mean, I can just as easily use this. I can just as easily use this. Although this one, I find that the paint really gets glossy with this one, and it also slows down for whatever reason. With Citadel paints and Vallejo and something else, this slows down the drying time by minutes. But it's noticeable when I'm working on the airbrush that because when I'm used to like finishing and it's dry within minutes, and then so there are many variables, and the more you build up experience, playing with all these different variables and experimenting and stuff like that. But really quickly, yeah, I use multiple thinners, multiple situations, and it's just the way I go, it's just the way I work sometimes, but otherwise, yeah, I found that with that Aztec thinner, because it's for their acrylic line, it's their Model Master Acryl. It's a universal acrylic thinner. That's what this one is. It's a 4-liter bottle. I don't know if they give a ingredients list. I'm sure you can probably pull up the material data sheet on this, but yeah. Yeah, I don't see any like listing of like what exactly. It doesn't have a funny smell to it either. It's just smells like acrylic. Whereas like the AK, or MIG ammo, not AK, sorry. This has a bit of an alcohol-y smell. Yeah, this has an alcohol-y smell. But I think this is more along the lines of like how they use their paints. And, like we were talking last week with the Citadel paints, the old Citadel, they have an alcohol in them. I had no idea that they had an alcohol in them. But yeah. So, anyway. Where am I? Reziel, race and gender swaps of characters to me are complete cop-out. Just write compelling new characters and pass the torch. Sure. But oftentimes you end up with, to tell newer stories, you have to, do a reboot of older characters to fit within the contemporary times. Because you want to make the characters relatable. And that is the characters that Xavier and Magneto were based on. That's 2 generations ago. And so you want to appeal to the current generation. Well, that's even further generation jumps. You know what I mean? So you got to make it at least somewhat contemporary for them. Anyway, Greg Gurman, would female Dr. X be bald too? Yeah. And I thought, you know who would be a good Xavier, because she's already done it, is the one that played the Ancient in Doctor Strange. I can't remember, Tilda something. Anyway, I thought, yeah, her, Professor Xavier. Perfect. Done. We're done. It writes itself. BT Headshots. What's up, Monkey Master? What up? What up? Cyclone 8974. We exist in a universe of lesser of two evils. Life is about trade-offs. Is it? Is that you figured life out? That's it. Life is about trade-offs. Oh man. Ghost Starman Deluxe. To be honest, having Magneto as a POC would probably work really well if done right. Having to not only deal with anti-mutant prejudice, but also more in real life type racism. Well, that's what the comic was about. It was about racism. It came about because of the racism. X-Men is the story of racism. I've been a huge fan of X-Men since I was a kid. Comics and everything like that. And as you would imagine, I've experienced racism quite a bit. So, you know, even right now, if I went outside somewhere, and yeah, I'm sure somebody would throw a comment my way. Definitely. Alan Smithy, thank you for bringing this up. I've always loved the 40K universe, specifically for the social commentary of all the empires being fascist hellholes, and never understood why anyone would like any faction. No, well, see, the thing is that it's a game, right? And if you are, you know, incorporating anything from this made-up universe into your day-to-day life, yeah, I would question that. It's like anybody who takes, you know, philosophy of like Star Trek into their day-to-day lives. You know, seriously. You know, I don't know. You know, I can inspire you, sure. I'm not saying that it shouldn't inspire you, but, you know, taking it too seriously? No. Come on. Same with like Star Wars, right? Star Wars, good God. You know, now there's like there's Jedi temples, and you know what I mean? Like, it's just, okay, people, we're getting a little silly here. But again, these are all first world problems. People who live in much more complicated areas of the world, I don't think they're dealing with these kinds of problems. These are first world problems. And the thing to remember about first world problems is that they're not real problems. They're not. You know, making Magneto a black guy, if you have issue with that, man, you know, if you have issue with a female lead in a story, come on. You know, they changed the philosophy of this fictional universe. Come on, you know, get your head out of your ass. Go see the real world. Get out of your basement. Yeah. Cyclone, I hate Starship Troopers movie. It made to mock the book. It was made to mock the book. Yes, definitely. Oh, Verhoeven? Yeah, definitely Verhoeven deviates from the source material. But I think Verhoeven tells his own stories. And yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, anybody who was truly in love with Starship Troopers and was looking forward to that, oh yeah, definitely would have been very disappointed. Thankfully, I wasn't, that familiar with Starship Troopers when it came out. And, I thought the movie was a lot of fun. It had some really great scenes in it and stuff like that. But then as I got older and more mature, and really started evaluating movies for what they really are, which is art. Movies are art, and it's subjective. All art is subjective, and oftentimes you bring what you bring to a viewing. And Starship Troopers is the same way. Same with X-Men. Same with any Star Wars, Star Trek, blah, 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 whatever the fuck you want. Warhammer 40,000. But yeah, Fire Dragatina. I love Paul Verhoeven's satire. Yeah, and that's what it is. It's satire. And yeah, he deviated from the book. Yeah, that's what Verhoeven's going to do. Verhoeven going to do what Verhoeven going to do. Eric Fountain, box wine is better than MD 2020. I don't know what MD 2020 is. Alan Smithy, but that's why I love the movie. Paul Verhoeven is a freaking genius. Yeah, oh yeah, definitely. Like RoboCop. RoboCop is a satire as well. Definitely. Greg, again, would female Dr. X be bald? Sure. She already was. Did you not see Doctor Strange? She was bald. You just can't. You can already see her playing a bald character. Sure, why not? Why wouldn't she be bald? Are you having difficulty imagining a bald woman sitting in a wheelchair, who's this ultra powerful psyker who, takes in a bunch of students and cares for them? Are you having difficulty with that? I'm just wondering. Again, if you're having issues with these things, it's you. It ain't me, it's you. Joshua Donovan. On a side note, I think it would be great conversion to replace the skeleton on the Primaris Captain Shield Indominus box set with parts of a Necron. Yeah, it would be more appropriate, right? If that shield was a Necron. But then, I mean, they're going more with that gothic look, right? With the bones and the relics, and kind of Stormcast Eternal-ish, really, But anyway, yeah, it would be more appropriate if it was just a Necron on front. He just uses like a battering ram. He just, rah, Anyway, Greenleaf Terrain. I paint everything at 120 psi. Yeah, might as well, right? 120 psi, about 5 feet away. Might just use what was that? The Simpsons, the makeup shotgun. Just use a shotgun. Just load the paint cartridges in there. Oh man, could you imagine? Imagine, people. Imagine if you guys could live up here. Holy man, we'd be having a lot of fun right now. Alan Smithy. The movie subverted the symbols of fascist pageantry pretty much spot on, and was great because it points out how messed up the book is. Yeah, I know. It's fiction, and people get really worked up about this shit, versus actual history, documented history. And you know what I mean? Like, this is the crazy ass world we live in, where people are just fired up about, Star Wars, Star Trek, Warhammer 40,000. You know what I mean? And when they make changes to the lore and this, and the character wouldn't do this, and blah, blah, you know what I mean? Like, people get really, really fired up about it. But does anybody read fucking history? Like, actual history? Like, I tell you, again, first world problems. These are first world problems. If you are concerned with where, you were sleeping tonight, where you were eating, what you were eating, if you were going to eat, I think you would be very focused on what was truly important to you. James Young. Hey, Kris. Would you do anything different to paint a Black Templar, Rhino, or Dreadnought than you would a Marine? I haven't painted tanks in black yet and worried what's best way to do it. No. I mean, in a large part, painting is very scalable. Mind you, yes, you're going to use more paint painting larger surfaces. To paint larger surfaces, do you think that little small standard brush is the way to paint a tank? Or maybe getting, the larger, broader brush to paint a tank? If you're painting it by hand. If you have an airbrush, then, you'll zip through it pretty fast. But if you're painting it by hand and want to get nice, smooth, even paint coverage on it, you're going to thin the paint down a little bit, use a larger brush, and, you know, not overwork the paint on the surface, let it dry, do another coat, you know what I mean, so on, until you get good, even coverage. And then, you know, yeah, so. Anyway. But yeah, there's really no difference in painting a Black Templar, Space Marine, tank, dreadnought, super heavy, whatevers, right? Because even the colors you can use to edge highlight the Space Marine, you can edge highlight the Land Raider, you can edge highlight the dreadnought, you know, so on and so forth. And you'll pretty much do it in a similar fashion, just doing an edging, right? You know? And yeah, now the trickiest part about doing larger scale models is getting good even coverage on that surface, so it doesn't look like you see a lot of brush strokes or missed areas or just, you know what I mean. And that just comes with time and experience in painting and working with your color a little bit thinned out, applying it over. Yeah, you'll still see some of the primer showing through, but that's okay because you just do another layer, alternate your brush strokes, and you'll be fine, right? So anyway, Old Man Logan, hey Kris and Monkeys, what silliness do we have going on today? Oh, all sorts of stuff. Reziel, new generations deserve new characters that reflect their times. Sure, but why not just tell like an older character and bringing them into the current times? What would that character be like if they were in this time? And that's all that is. And why not? Like, why not? What is the problem with that? What is the problem? Because we're very precious about those characters? They're fictional. They're characters. They're malleable. They can be anything we want them to be. When you start treating it like dogma, like an institution, that might be a problem. Joshua Donovan. Man, I'm having a hard time reading. Her name is Tilda Swinton, I believe. Yes, I believe so as well. Dean Goldstein. Today's entertainment industry doesn't want to take chances on new ideas. No, definitely. That's why we have so many reboots and terrible sequels to be produced. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yes. I agree 100%. I mean, a reboot is coming for X-Men. They've already pretty much said it, Disney, that a reboot is coming. That they're giving it time, and then we're getting an X-Men reboot. So, who knows? Greg Gurman, talk about being typecast, bald female leader. It doesn't have to be her. I'm just saying somebody of that level. And I could already see, you know, like, because I've already seen her as bald, you know what I mean? Like, sure, get somebody of her similar caliber of acting, because she's a great actor, and just fill that role with that person who conveys, you know, that sense of authority and caring and, you know, leadership and everything like that, like all those qualities that Xavier apparently has. And you just, yeah, you know, find somebody who matches those qualities. Of course, if they're a really great actor, they don't even have to have those qualities internally. They can just project them, right? So, anyway. Dr. Xantos, hold up. I'm Xavier, as I'm Doctor, and a bold. Fear my man powers. BH Headshots. Ended up ordering that Vortex mixer since I'm getting back into the hobby. Thanks for the info the other night when I messaged you. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. You know, I'm happy with it. I mean, it's a lot of fun. Well, mixing paint. I haven't used it for anything other than paint mixing. I swear. Oh, man. Reziel. Also, I think it's racist and sexist to assume you can't sell comics without making what should be a fresh character and take the name of the older character. They don't have their own identity. So you can't have a Professor X. Yeah, did you read X-Men? Rezio, that's crazy. X-Men has been rebooted even within the comic line a bunch of times. Like, that argument is ridiculous. It's fiction. Rezio, that doesn't make any sense, man. That doesn't make any sense. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. From a storytelling perspective, it would be better to create new characters than recycle old ones, but the average consumer is more likely to go see a movie about a character they've heard of before. Sure, it's a familiarity. And, when they're making these movies, movies, are art, but it's a commercialized art. And how they make money is by getting those butts in those seats, right? And going by mass appeal. It's the times we live in, What was the last art movie you all watched that wasn't a Marvel movie or whatever? What was the last art movie you watched? Foreign film. Right? I don't actually expect you to answer because, I'm going to assume it's bullshit anyway. Johnny's Chop Shop. When you do a large piece for a commission or gift, do you sign it or mark it in the way? When I do a large piece commission, I don't do large piece commissions. In fact, I haven't done commissions in like 20 years. So, and did I sign them? No. The painting on the model was probably my signature, right? Just the way I paint a model. That's about it. I mean, I could if the person who commissioned me to paint them a piece wanted me to sign it. Sure. Now, mind you, if it was like a canvas that I'm doing, then definitely, I sign it. But miniatures, no, I don't sign. I don't sign them. No, man. No, man. No. No, man. Rezio, so Ghost of Starman Deluxe, it seems like you're saying it's better to make money than write better characters. It's the world you live in, man. That's what the studios are going to do. It's money first. They're a business. Or I agree that's the whole what studios think. I think that's wrong. Well, yeah, you can think it's wrong, but I mean, doesn't change what it is. And this is what it is. And the system that we're in values high profits over creative endeavors in almost every aspect of society that we currently live in. In this society I'm talking about in the Western world, I would suppose. Mostly in North American side of things, of course. Capitalism. Cyclone. Maybe he should have made his own IP then. Heretic Scott. Pretty much any alcohol is better than MD 2020. It's truly disgusting. I don't know what MD 2020 is. You got me curious now. I want to know what it is. George. If movies are art, then miniatures is an art. Movies are written story as miniature is to sculpting. Sure. Miniature sculpting, sure. But miniature painting? I mean, it requires an artistic ability. It benefits from an artistic sensibility. But is it? Again, it goes back to the argument of everything that humans do is truly an art. Which, yeah, it is. It's an art. So miniature painting, in that regards, is an art. Sure. Greg, Kris, no, I'm just saying that if you make the male character a female, she doesn't need to be at all like the original. It is you who is having trouble expanding. Sure. We can make it totally different. Sure. Yeah. You can have her totally different. Why not? I don't care. It's an idea, man. I'm not fucking married to it. I'm not committed to it. I'm not chiseling it in stone that that's the way it's got to be. If they completely change it and they make, yeah, Xavier, a Caucasian bald guy in a wheelchair again. Is anybody going to be disappointed? I'm just throwing an idea out there. That's all it is. I don't even know why we're still talking about this. Holy fuck. Oh, man. Greenleaf Trade. I'm not lying about the PSI. You have seen my work, even the miniatures. I spray at 120 PSI. Yeah, you just... There's like a silhouette on the wall where he's spraying the miniature. You can see the silhouette of the miniature on the wall. 120 PSI. Would that, like... That'd be kind of dangerous, wouldn't it? Especially, like, working up close like that? Because you can... Because I know, like, with... like pneumatics and even like, you know, in garages with the airlines, you're not supposed to put that hose, the end of that hose, like right up against your flesh, because it can introduce air bubbles into your bloodstream, and anybody knows an air bubble in your bloodstream is bad. It's bad. So now I don't know at what PSI that those lines typically run at, but 120 PSI sounds like a lot. And if you were spraying a miniature, would you be in danger of introducing an air bubble into your bloodstream? I don't know. Probably not. It's probably going to be much higher PSI, but just a thought. Ben Ellis, at least we know Mini Marines will be the 9th edition of 40K, although I don't think they would be on the Shield, LOL. Johnny Wraith, holy cramoles, Johnny Wraith, there's a name I haven't read in a very long time. Geez, I make it to the stream for the first time in forever, and I got just in time for nerd raging. Insert that gif of Homer going back into the plants. Yeah, just... It's always nerd rage. It's always nerd rage. I'm one of the biggest nerd ragers there are, but oftentimes I'm raging against the rage. You know, like it's just. Like I personally, I'm with you. Anybody who wants an original story, original movies, you know, or, you know, what have you, I'm with you. I'm with you. But it's not likely to happen, and that's because it's the nature of the game that we're all in. That rehashings and retellings, and you know what I mean. Like those are always going to be what get butts in the seat. Now, if people really are that concerned about this shit, then stop going to the movie. Let it fail. And so they go, oh, you know what? Nobody came to this movie. You know, nobody came to, you know, Avengers 3. You know what I mean? Stop going. You want fresh material. You want new takes on stories, or you want original stories. Stop going to these rehashes, these reboots, these remakes, these reimaginings, these whatever the fuck you want to call them. Stop going. Stop talking about them. Stop going to them. Stop watching them. Stop buying them. Stop. Just stop. Simple. It's pretty fucking simple. Just stop interacting with that shit. Stop talking about it on social media. Stop, you know, sharing photos and memes and whatever bullshit. Stop buying the merchandise. Stop. Stop. Pretty simple. Pretty goddamn simple. Oh man, what time we at here? Holy cramoles, we're already an hour in, and I've been ranting and raving again. I'm gonna move ahead of these comics here because, I don't know. Oh, I see Bone Ripper's joining us now. James of Kent. Good afternoon, Kris. Afternoon, all. I'm still moving ahead of comments here because, you know, yeah. Some people actually put in foreign films and the art pieces. And, yeah, I mean, like I said, I don't bother listening. I was just simply making a point. Saleswoman from hell. The word art is bollocks. Yeah. Right? It's kind of like the participation medal for everybody. Right? Well, if everybody's special, then nothing's special, right? So if everything's art, nothing's art. Right? If we can apply that same logic. I like playing logic. So, right? Heretic Scott, MD 2020. Mogan David. Mogan? Is that how you say it? Mogan? Mogan? Anyway. It's a fortified wine made in the U.S. Oof. It's the kind of drink that tastes the same going down as it would coming back up. Ugh. Been there. Ugh. Ugh. Cyclone, we're still talking about this because you have to take time to read our comments like 20 minutes later. Right. That's why I'm moving on. We're moving on. Saleswoman from hell. No, keep watching Marvel. Keep shoveling popcorn down your throat. Yeah, just keep doing it. Right? Go ahead. Do it. I'm not, But don't complain to me that these things are bullshit and rehashings and retellings. And, episode 7 was just episode, New Hope. And, you know what I mean? Like, fuck. Stop going then. Stop watching it. Stop interacting with it. Stop sharing memes. Stop talking about, you know what I mean? Like, just stop. Fire Drake 18. You fucking hit it right on the head. That's what it is. It's consume. Stay asleep. Obey. That's truly, and I'm a big fan of the message in that movie. And and look at, and that movie, fucking nobody knows about it. Nobody's heard of it. Like, even my wife, who's not a huge sci-fi fan, she tells people that, like, that's a really great movie, and everybody she talks to, never heard of it. And it's like, well, fucking nobody's heard of this? But does something like that, where you call into question your own belief structures and things like that, do some people not have the mechanism in their brains to actually self-reflect and be conscious of themselves? Like, conscious of the world we're interacting with, right? Again, for evil to win, good people have to do nothing, right? Or for good evil to win. You know the fucking quote. Guys got me swearing all over the place now. Stop. TH Adorno says that art differs from entertainment in its critical ability. The art makes you question things and realize through critical thinking. I guess painted dolls can do that, right? Can they? Because a movie can make you think critically about your world. Like I was just talking about. Consume, sleep, obey, right? Do the miniatures do that? Or are they just pretty for pretty's sake? I don't know. You tell me. You tell me. Oh man, Logan, episode 302. Stop. Just stop. Just stop. That's it, right? If you're dissatisfied with this stuff, just stop interacting with it. Like, I don't know if I've talked about this recently, but I'm seriously considering shutting off my Facebook. I'm seriously considering shutting off Facebook. My personal Facebook stuff. The Chris Bellows side of stuff. Way the Brush stuff, I'll still post there, but I only ever post Way the Brush type stuff anyway. I don't talk about, anything serious or, anything like that. And, it is just interacting with you to continue to gauge your reaction and make you react and engage with it. And that's all it's good for. And I find myself with a lot of things that are like that they distract me. And I don't like a lot of distractions because it stops me from being productive and creating. Right? And I would highly recommend that for all of you. Even if you don't figure yourself a very creative type, you're more creative than you think. And me screaming, stop interacting with it, is one of those things. It's just stop interacting with it. Stop. Do you really need it in your life? No, not really. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, I'm a big Star Wars nerd, big Star Trek nerd, big 40K nerd. I'm just a big all-round nerd. and a round nerd. And, you know, I'm seriously considering cutting elements of this stuff out of my life because, yeah, ultimately, it's not, like, how in any shape, form is it, you know, a positive other than just being entertainment and making me smile? But then, you know, I'm usually going back and looking at older material, and I enjoy the older material. So, you know, just saying. If it doesn't make you happy, then stop interacting with it, is really what it is. Stop getting worked up about it and abandon it. Leave it. It's gone. Cut it out. Right? Go Star Man Deluxe. Wait, what movie? Russ Evans, what movie? You guys are going to piss me off. Stop it. Oh, man. David Vega. Email time? Yeah, I think we are getting to that time. Saleswoman from Hell. I like to think that gray plastic is no different from a white canvas. I think you're underselling your own skills, Kris. Sometimes that little gray piece of plastic, let's see here, right? There's a world of possibilities that this can be painted. Different mediums, different styles, different techniques, right? But often, it's not. It's painted in very safe, normal type of colors are used, techniques, and what have you, mediums. And if it was truly something truly to engage people, like, why not just paint? Oops, fucking dropped it. You know, why not just paint it in all sorts of garish colors, use different techniques, right? Something that nobody's ever seen. And that's something I'm often concerned with, is painting something that I typically don't see. And usually whenever I have an idea about a paint scheme, I will research it, look it up, and see if it's been done. Because if it's been done, I don't do it. If I'm really concerned about the paint job, or what I'm painting, or subject matter, or, you know what I mean, whatever. I'm not concerned with, you know, and when I see a lot of videos on YouTube and stuff like that, they're all showing the same shit. Painting a space marine with contrast paints. Oh, fucking groundbreaking. Fucking 10 other people are doing that. You know? And everybody loses their mind, and they have millions of views. And it's like, I don't get it. And it's kind of like the Marvel movie type thing. Because fucking people just keep going to it and just, you know, eating popcorn. Yeah. And it makes me question. It makes me question even my own work, believe it or not. Because I'd like to think that I'm educating and informing. And are the videos I'm creating, are they benefiting anybody? Because I post a video and nobody comments, doesn't get a lot of views, doesn't get a lot of interaction, right? So is this what nobody wants? Like, does nobody want this shit anymore? Nobody wants to learn? And when I look at YouTube, yeah, that's what I'm seeing. Nobody wants to fucking learn. Nobody's interested in original shit. Nobody's interested in... everybody just wants to react. Everybody wants to react. Oh, well, this person said this, and it completely destroyed this argument. And that's what gets tons and tons of views. And that's complete bullshit. It's bullshit. It's only meant to engage you, and you are not learning from that kind of shit. Because ultimately, the kind of bullshit that those videos are provoking is a reaction from you, and that's it. You're not learning anything. You're not expanding your abilities. You're not, you know, opening yourself up creatively. You're just a fucking set of eyeballs at the other end of that screen. Be it your phone, tablet, computer, TV, whatever. And that's it. Right? Believe me, I've gone over this argument for a couple of years now, that realistically creating these tutorials, you know what I mean? And I prefer to create the tutorials that often don't get addressed or shed a new light on an already done idea and take it in a different direction. But again, people don't seem concerned with that. People just want the same shit over and over and over again. So, when we're talking about painting, miniature art, movies, literature, shit like that, yeah, society, world we live in. But anyway, I digress. Where am I here? Saleswoman from hell, regardless of purpose, whether for money or for leisure, for the art, you have an image in your head and you're bringing it to reality. Sure. But you also want to bring it forth, and art for me personally has always been challenging, and it's always been self-expression. Those are the greatest aspects in my mind of art. And what really makes an artist is themselves in their art. Like when I was talking about Wayne England earlier in the show today. Wayne England, such a distinct style to the man's work that you spot it a mile away. You can immediately tell a Wayne England piece from other GW type artists and fantasy artists and stuff like that. You can immediately tell that's a Wayne England. I don't know if you guys can see that or not, but anyway. Because his own style was in it. He saw a vision on what he wanted to produce, and he created it. And that is art. His self, even though he was creating something commercial and was going to be, reprinted all over the place and be plastered on buses and, be on comic books and, pamphlets and whatevers. He still put himself into it. And it lives to this day, even past the man himself. Still stands as good works of art. Do we see that in miniature painting? With the prevalence, even digital art. A lot of digital art I see, like so much. The same. I can tell it's a digital process gone on. And I get a little disappointed. I look at, miniature painting, and so much airbrushing goes on. And I get a little disappointed. Because pieces, you can't tell who did what. And I think a lot of the masters out there, I think they're starting to feel that as well. Because I'm noticing that there's this minute shift from a majority of airbrushing work. I'm noticing that in fact I'm seeing more brushstrokes on models that are painted beautifully, and they're coming out in the last year or so, and I'm noticing that there's more hands-on type of painting, and that's good. I think, in my opinion, that's good, because airbrushing, just like the digital approach to art, it's easily duplicated, right? Replicated, and people who want to do what you're doing can do it easily, right? Whereas if there was an original piece, like if I made an original piece on canvas and what have you, it's an original piece in whatever medium I chose, and it's very difficult to duplicate because it was a physical object I made. It wasn't something digital that could just be copied and pasted. And even working digitally, which I've done plenty of times. I've worked, a majority of my work in the last probably 10 years has been digital work. And, it's very fast to create commercially available type of products. But, putting your own self-expression into, it's kind of lost. It's lost through the medium. Something's lost through the medium. How do you bring more personal and self-expression through the digital medium? I don't know. I have no idea. It's a question I'm posing to the universe, really. These are the kind of thoughts that keep me up at night, by the way. Thomas Christensen. Hey, Kris and chat. Hey. Fire Drake 18, 8 years ago, I realized how toxic social media is, so I stopped interacting, and now I don't understand what simps means, and I'm happy about that. Yeah, simps? Oh, simps are fucking everywhere, buddy. Yeah. No, you're better off. I envy you. If 8 years ago you stopped interacting with social media, yeah, I envy you. I mean, for the nature of the game I'm playing, I have to have social media. Otherwise, my minute audience would become even more minute. Dark Commission. Maybe art is something created for no utilitarian purpose. But what art fits that category? Because you can argue anything, again, that humans create is art. Carpentry. Engine repair. You know what I mean? A man or woman can be an artist in whatever field they want, and they can become an artist through mastery, right? Through self-expression. So what art is made for just simply a utilitarian purpose? Because what art is made without purpose? I don't know. Thomas Christensen, I really want to find some nice color team for my new Lumineth. Oh, new color scheme? Well, I mean, the one I seen, obviously was probably the first one to get done, was making them look like the old High Elves, right? With the blue with the silver. Again, I mean, making up your own color scheme, we've talked about that many, many, many times on the show. I often would recommend, looking outside. Look at an animal. What colors are interesting on an animal? Sea creature, octopus, bird, lizard, horse, whatever. Commercial. Maybe a logo design, right? Because logos, there's a lot of thought in a logo. A lot of thought in a logo. In its shape, colors, everything. And maybe a particular logo inspires a certain feeling or certain vibe that you're looking for that would fit within whatever you're imagining the Lumineth fit within your imaginings, right? So coming up with a color scheme, it's one of those personal things, right? So, yeah. Bone Ripper, a lot of people are sheep and like following the trend, being individual people. Right, well, and I've said this many times before, am I talking to sheep or am I talking to wolves? Because I thought I was talking to wolves. But maybe I am talking to sheep. Maybe wolves are rarer than I thought. Fire Drake 18. I think Kris said it best. If you look at a model and can see the same way to paint something as everyone else with virtually no variation is not art. I'm paraphrasing it, but I agree. Well, then that's the thing, right? I mean, again, you can argue it back and forth all day long till you're blue in the face, right? Maybe art is more paradoxical than we think. And maybe that, and it's paradoxes and contradictions, and you know what I mean? And maybe that's what is truly human about art. Is it's a reflection of the paradoxical and contradicting nature of humanity. And maybe that's why it's not taught in schools as prevalent as it should be. because we don't want to self-reflect, right? Maybe. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Again, these are the thoughts that keep me up at night. Joshua Donovan. Hey, Kris. I just took out the mini vortex out of the box. It's got a USB plug in the side. Wonder if that means it can run off the computer. Yeah, it's probably just a USB power line. Just the, that there's USBs devices that are just like they have a USB port, because USBs are so prevalent all over the place, right? That now it seems like a lot of small devices are just coming with USB lines. They're just putting a USB port on, and you know what I mean, because it runs at a frequency that a lot of devices. And I bet you too, USB, because international standards. I bet you that's why. It's international standards. Just a thought. I don't know. I could be completely way off base, but maybe it's easier to produce products that are made in China that are going to ship to Europe, that are going to go into Asia, that are going to go into North America, that are, you know what I mean, like. And if it's a USB line, well, everybody's got USB. It's a universal standard, right? I mean, realistically, why aren't houses being built with USB ports instead of whatever power situation, right? Who knows? Who knows? Dark Commission. I had an airbrush for 2 years and just can't find any use for it beyond rainy day priming. For figures, busts, I've recently bought some small canvas boards just to try airbrush art. Well, Dark Commission, if you have an airbrush and you've been doing busts, dude, use it on your bust. I just did a video on painting The Rock Dwayne Johnson. I mean, that's pretty much a bust size, right? And it's 1/12 scale. And yeah, I was gonna grab The Rock, but whatever. Grab it. Anyway, yeah. Again, I mean, like it's a tool, and everybody has what's a screwdriver's for, but some people don't use a screwdriver for what it's for. They use it for opening a can, or what I mean, chiseling or whatever, right? I mean, so. Yeah. Anyway, Old Man Logan, you can see his unique. I think many examples of creative architecture that could also be considered art. Frank Lloyd Wright comes to mind, both art and utility. Architecture is universally known as an art. It's an art. Is it utility? Sure. But not all architecture is utility. Some of it's just sculpture or, design aesthetic. I mean, not always is architecture utility. Do we use it, right? A big giant archway, right? Is it necessary? Is there a purpose to it? Not really. It's, to frame off a park or, whatever. Like, again, many things in art can fit that category. That, just, like, I don't know if utility art is even a thing. I don't know if that's an actual thing, because all human expression, can qualify for art. And again, if everyone's special, then nothing's special, right? Old Man Logan, in my case, you're talking about Chihuahua. Chinchilla or chinchilla? My spirit animal. Nathaniel, Kris, you're talking to sheepdogs. Neither wolf nor sheep. I like it. You're right, Nathaniel. There is a third option. And that's true, right? With many things in life. It's not always black or white. It's not always, left or right. It's not just wolves and sheep. There's sheepdog. I like it. It's good. Saleswoman from Hell. You don't have art class? You don't have art class? I don't have art class? I don't know what that means. I don't know what you mean by that, saleswoman. Bone Ripper, sheepdog, looking after the folk. Yeah, I like it. Like I said, I liked it. Nathaniel, that's a good one. Yeah, sheepdog. Okay, I'm talking to sheepdogs. I can live with that. Oh, man. Joshua Donovan, self-reflection for the Imperium is heresy. Right? Exactly. Alan Smithy, hey now, self-reflection is dangerous talk. Yeah, exactly, right? Fire 18, episode 302. What thoughts keep me up at night? Yeah, exactly. Ghost Starman Deluxe, big giant archway is used to stand under when it's raining. Right, but what if it's very narrow? It's gonna stand. You're just gonna cover one person, like, you know what I mean? Like, Old Man Logan agreed. Not all architecture is utility. My point was that art can also be utility. Well, definitely, yes, definitely. Art can be utility. But is there such a thing? I think it was Dark Commission who mentioned the utilitarian art, and I don't know if that's a thing. Like if it's art purely made for utility. I almost said artillery. Art made for can artillery be art? Can it? I don't know. Dark Commission. I was thinking that a stool is craft. A carved design on the stool is art. The carving is unnecessary to function. Is it? Is the carving unnecessary? It all depends upon the carving. Because what if the stool itself, it has artistic styled knurling along the sides. A knurling, right? Is it just simply design, or does its design also help with, say, gripping said stool and carrying it, right? Again, it's just simple little flowing, coiling design or whatever. But what if it helps with the grip? It becomes a part of the chair. It's simple carving, but it also helps with attaining a grip on that surface. Again, you can argue these things back and forth till we're all blue in the face. And again, I think my greater point is that art is probably something truly human in that it is both paradox and contradiction at the same time. Oh, I almost did the Aquila. When doing the sign of the Aquila, I've always interpreted as this, or like something like more like that, right? I've always interpreted that as that, right? That's the sign of the Aquila, or maybe even if you want to be more accurate, maybe bend two fingers in, right? So you kind of create that Aquila shape. That's how I've always interpreted it. How do you interpret it? Is it the same thing, or is it something else? Anyway. Alan Smithy, that's why my army are renegade void pirates. Saleswoman from L. You were talking about schools not having art classes or something. What if decorative is the function? What if decorative is the function? Yeah, I think that's what I'm talking about. Like, yeah. I think, or maybe you're answering Dark Commission's point. Yeah. Oh, right, yeah. You don't have art class? No, I had it, but I went to school like 20 some years ago, dude. So, it was a while ago. I know things change, and I know there's a lot of schools that cut art programs. They're not in their curriculum. And when, in fact, maybe art really should not be one of those programs that people treat lightly. And it really does reflect, too, because artists are not respected. Any art you create as an artist, it's taken for granted immediately, right? And especially if you do it with skill and mastery, taken for granted all the time. All the time. Artists are taken advantage of all the time and taken for granted. And yet, it permeates everything about human society. Again, it's probably because we take ourselves for granted. We take this civilization for granted. Again, this could all disappear. I mean, 4 months ago, did you think the world was going to be in the condition it's in now? Took it for granted. Old Man Logan, we need to be having this conversation in person with beer and burgers. Definitely. Definitely. With the burgers, I don't know too many beers. Then I'll just get angry. We'll get in a fight. Saleswoman from Hell, Wu-Tang! Ghost Starman Deluxe. I tend to cross my thumbs with the acrylic. Oh, okay. Yeah. Let's see. See, like that though. I guess my thumbs aren't long enough. Maybe that's why I do it that way. I just have stubby thumbs. I got stubbiness. Yeah, because see, when I cross my thumbs, that's as far as I get. Whereas if I do them back to back, right, then it looks more like the Aquila. And also this pinky here, because my ring's in the way, doesn't come all the way up. So I think that's why I was doing it kind of like this. You know, kind of has that Aquila-like shape. But yeah, that's the way I've always imagined the Aquila, like when they make the sign of the Aquila, that they're like, you know. Anyway. Fire Drinking Teen, I'm art because my parents created me. Right? Saleswoman from Hell, damn, no art classes? That's pretty depressing. It is. It's very depressing. I know that, like, there's many places that, you know, especially in America, yeah, they don't, they drop art programs. George hints, there's a difference between art and wall furniture. There's many differences. Old Man Logan, I will drink the beers then. I'm a happy drunk. I'm not a mean drunk, but I have been known to, when we get into the sauce, I turn into the philosopher, and so this becomes more exaggerated the further on into the evening we get as alcohol's involved. So that's all I'm saying. James of Kent, did I mishear there was a stool with decorative nurglings? Knurling, not nurgling. Mitch Brenson? Hi, Mitch. Emerald Phoenix, I've always done the Aquila the same way as you, Kris. I haven't worked out the sign of the Mechanicus cog using the hand. Yeah, what's the Mechanicus? Like, you don't want to be doing this sign. I don't know. Yeah, what is the Mechanicus cog? I don't know. Is it something like that? You're making a cog. I mean, like, if you were to greet somebody and they're, you know, that would make sense, right? In the Mechanicus, they're making a cog wheel, right? It's a wheel, right? You know, because this one, right, in 40K, this is kind of cool, right? And of course, it's 40K, so it's always about cool, not logic or reason. Because when you apply logic and reason to fiction, the whole fucking thing comes apart anyway, and it's no fun. I mean, you know, you are dispelling belief, and I don't know why I'm still doing this, but anyway, yeah. I mean, like, this is kind of cool, right? Because you can see Space Marines doing this kind of thing, right? Just, you know, Imperial servants and rogue traders and, you know, whatever, citizens who are very devout to the Imperial cult, right? And they even say it in the literature of the universe. It's the Imperial cult. You know. So anyway, yeah. But the cog, the sign of the cog. That's what I think of Mechanicus. Yeah, I said it, Grim. That's what I think of Mechanicus. Not Grim. I'm gonna get Grim all pumped up. I said, don't talk about my Mechanicus like that. Frickin' jerk. Saleswoman from Hell. Chris's lesson on throwing up gang signs. Yeah, we're doing all sorts of Imperium, yo. Oh man. Alright. Holy shit, it's 1:35. We gotta do some emails. I've got a few. We're pretty good. Although some of them are pretty long. And Nathaniel, I've got your email. I'm going to assume you were sharing that for everybody. I don't know. Nathaniel, if you did not want me to share that email, tell me right now. But yeah. If you wanted me to share it, I will share it. It's kind of personal. So that's why I kind of question whether or not it was for just me or if it's for everybody. But yeah. Because feel free to send me personal emails all the time. Anybody out there. I read them. And, you know, I often don't always respond because sometimes, you know, I don't know if it needs a response. Other than, yeah, I got your email. You know. I mean, so I read your email. It seems a bit personal. If you want me to share it, I'll share it. If you don't, leave it below. Tell me, no, don't share it, you know. But yeah. Actually, it's the first damn email I'm going to bring up here. I don't know. Do you want me to share it? I don't know. See, because like I said, it seems a little bit personal. Alan Smithy, your Aquila hand sign is how the Rainbow Warriors left alive from the Rogue Trader days meet each other. No, that wasn't the Aquila sign. That one, no, that was the Imperial cog symbol, making a circle. I assume making a circle, right? The Imperial or the Mechanicus cog is making a circle, right? Because a cog is typically circular. So I would assume making a circle in the hand is what the symbol is with your hands, right? Doing hand gestures. And yeah. So and you know, Alan, really realistically, Rainbow Warriors, and this is the symbol for the Rainbow Warriors. Isn't that a bit of a gay joke? I mean, you know, that's another one too. You know, I know everybody's been doing this since GW posted about the inclusivity of their IP. The one I don't see getting mentioned is when people refer to Eldar players, Eldar, Taste the Rainbow, Skittles, and depicting it in all sorts of rainbows, which is obviously a jab at the gay community, right? Which I don't agree with, and I never have. And I may have made the joke because I'm a jerk once or twice in the past, but I'm an avid Eldar player, and you know, when people make that kind of joke, you know, and they use it in thumbnails for Eldar, and it's all rainbowy, that just shows more about the person than, you know, than anything really. And you know, is that inclusive? Making that kind of comment? Oh, Eldar are gay. Oh, it's gay. You know, it's silly. It's childish. You know, it's phobic, definitely. And you know, I'm not picking on you, Alan. I'm just saying that, you know, that yeah, when we are trying to be inclusive, does that help? You know, does that help anybody? Does that make it inclusive, or does it make it, you know, segregated? Right? Like I said, Alan, I'm not picking on you. I'm just saying. You know, and I get it. Back in the day, yeah, I would have made that joke 100 times. You know, Rainbow Warriors, ha ha ha. You know. But like I said, I'm evolving, growing, changing, learning. Yeah. The guy I was, I'm not that guy today. Like I said, I was an asshole, jerk, douchebag. You know? I like to think I've evolved and changed, and again, personal self-reflection helps with that. We reflect upon our previous ideas, our notions of what things were. Do they still hold up today? Do you still feel the same way about these things? You know? That's why these things are very, very important. And I think that's what is sorely lacking in today's world on a vast, vast scale. Self-reflection. Anyway. Alan, I was talking about the Aquila sign. It wasn't a gay joke. No, I know. I'm just saying though. Like when we were saying Rainbow Warriors, because typically Rainbow Warriors, when everybody mentions about the Rainbow Warriors, it's because they have a rainbow, and obviously they're making the gay joke, right? Which is probably why GW never really pushed, you know, the Rainbow Warriors forward, you know, in time, kind of thing, right? I don't know if it was originally created as you know, a jab at that, or making light of it, or whatever, but you know, yeah. No, I know, Alan. I'm just, you know, I wasn't just, you know, singling you out. If I was going to single you out, I'd single you out. My Space Marines are Rainbow Warriors, but I appreciate the support. I mean, like, it's funny, the Rainbow Warriors, and this is their, hand sign, or they have a hand sign involving that. I mean, it's funny, derogatory or, unsensitive, possibly, I don't know, But I've been known to be insensitive at times too, so, what can you do? What can you do? Dr. Xantos, I always thought the Taste the Rainbow was more about Care Bears. No, Taste the Rainbow, that's Skittles. Skittles, because there are many, many colors. Skittles. Taste the Rainbow. That was their tagline for their commercials. Taste the Rainbow. That's why it gets thrown around. Skittles, because it's a rainbow. Rainbow, gay pride. I mean, it's not hard to make that a connection. And for many, many years, it's a very popular thing to make fun of Eldar, right? Oh, Eldar, so cheesy, so gay. Ugh. Little fruity elves running around. You just listen to the language. Just listen to the language. It'll tell you. Alan. Yeah, no, it's not a misunderstanding, dude. I was not picking on you. I told you I wasn't picking on you. I'm just saying, though, because that brings up that point that, with all this talk of, making the hobby inclusive, I noticed nobody mentions that. Nobody mentions that one. That gets tossed around so often. Oh, Eldar, the rainbow. That's why, because it was an old perspective. So gay. And yet nobody makes mention of that. Oh man. Anyway. Hey, you guys. Rogel Sean, good evening from the UK. Been catching up on some of your past stuff and glad to see you taking off independently since last year. Well, thank you. Honestly, it's kind of like that Ghostbusters moment, in the beginning of Ghostbusters. Call it fate, call it destiny, call it karma, whatever you want. Things happen for a reason. Yeah. I mean, obviously, leading up to it, I was feeling stagnated. And the environment was not positive at all. And you can tell, even from what was created before to today, on their part, completely different. Ghost Star Man Deluxe. Rainbow Warriors were named after the Greenpeace ship. I think part of the reason they haven't been pushed is because the ship sank. I'm sure. Alan. Yeah, back in the day when G-dubs would take every idea and add in space afterwards. Sure. Right? Because, I mean, like, everything about Warhammer 40,000 is borrowed. Right? It borrows from Starship Troopers. It borrows from Dune. It borrows from Isaac Asimov. It borrows, like, from all the greats. But so does Star Wars. So does Star Trek. So do all these other things. Right? And talking about your original ideas and stuff like that. Warhammer 40,000 isn't original in that sense. But when they created it initially, I don't think it was intended as such. Again, I think because we're taking it a little too seriously. Same with Star Wars. Same with Star Trek. Taking it a little too seriously. Greg, email? Yeah. I mean, Greg, you always push for the email, but you never send me an email. Or do you just like hearing the music? Is that what it is? You like hearing the music? Oh, man. Alan, orcs are literal soccer hooligans, and that's why I love them. Sure. Coma. Hey. Actually get here in time? Well, not really. I mean, you're hour 46 minutes late. So you're not on time, but you're here in time to catch it live. So there's that. Alright. TH, Rogue Trader gave the potential for more space parody than 40k is today. GW was pretty funny back in the day. Definitely. You saw it definitely in the orcs. And even Space Marines. Even the Imperium itself. It was like Verhoeven. It was parody. It was satire. It was making a statement, as good art does. And that's probably what pushed Warhammer 40,000 into people's minds, and because of the times as well. I mean, we were still living in the Cold War. The threat of nuclear annihilation was still a very real possibility. Don't have that today. Well, you have pandemic now. The idea of everyone turning into fucking zombies is actually kind of, a reality. But the threat of nuclear annihilation, that was a daily concern. I mean, you kids today grew up outside of the Cold War. No fucking idea like that. What the idea of that looming in your head daily. Even kids born in 2000, since September 11th. The idea of terrorists, crashing planes, and that was used as an excuse to take away liberty and freedoms. Which probably in the long run is just as damaging, I suppose. Again, further reflection would be needed to assess that. But yeah. Anyway, let's get to the emails because we have to. Jabba's left nut. Did Kris just email shame someone? Well, because Greg is always hounding me. I see his comments all the time. Email, do an email, do an email, do an email. But he never sends me an email. I don't get an email from Greg. I can't say never because I'm sure maybe he has sent an email before. But I don't know. Anyway, Alan. I always play Narrative 40k and Inquisimunda set in Rogue Trader settings. I can't help my older personus. I don't know. Aaron Seach. Yeah, it was a lot of fun back then, having Fallout drills, knowing that we could be killed at any moment. Yeah. It wasn't quite that bad. But I mean, today, fuck. I can't even imagine going to high school today. They got to prepare, especially in America. They got to prepare for the possibility of a kid going bananas and shooting up the place. You know what I mean? Is it just as bad? Probably. Are they on the same level? Yeah, I'd probably say. Is it worse? I don't know. That again, future generations will determine that one, I suppose. But yeah. Bench on Cold War. Okay, boomer. But I was there too. I ain't no boomer. I mean, I was born in 75. So, what generation does that put me in? X? I think it's X. Anyway. James O'Kent. Damn it. I had an hour 48 on the sweepstake for mention of They Live. Hour 48 minutes of sweepstake. Yeah, we were early with the They Live reference. No, I'm not gonna say it, but it's They Live related. But no, it's something that's burning in the back of my brain, and it's gonna come forward, but it's months out. But yeah, anyway. Dark Commission. I was a Cold War kid, never bothered me. Our local fire station used to sound a siren every day at 4 p.m., but had to stop in early 80s because it freaked out the regular folks. Sure, but I mean, that were you the exception or the norm? Now, mind you, I can imagine in England, the culture, very different, because the generation before you, Dark Commission, the kids grew up getting fucking bombed every day. The cities were being leveled. So yeah, there might be a bit of sturdiness there. Sure. The threat of, bombs falling on your head, very real. On this side of the world, no, that kind of thing. Not since, not since the Indian removal policies where people shooting at each other on a regular basis. Not since the Old West times. Not since, the 18 whatevers, right? I mean, nowadays, yeah, people are fucking shooting at each other all the time. So really, has time changed? I don't know. Again, history will tell. It's not a competition, though. It's not a competition, right? Whether or not growing up with fucking bombs falling on your head versus nuclear annihilation versus kids shooting at each other. It's not a fucking competition. It's not, well, this was worse than this. It's all pretty much the same. It's all fucking horrible. It's not a way to grow up. I think we all can agree. It's not a way to grow up. Old man Logan, Kris is no boomer. Solidly Gen X. Yeah, solid Gen Xer, I suppose. Benchun, my grandfather was dynamite man in the UK mine. In a UK mine. Was a dynamite man in a UK mine. Oh, he was a... I thought you were saying like he was a dynamite man. Like he's like, he's a straight up guy, He was a dynamite guy. Oh, he was a dynamite man in a UK mine. That's a real boomer. Harder times. Again, it's not a fucking comparison or competition. It is a comparison, but it's not a competition. Right? I mean, we understand that, right? It's not a competition. So back in my day, we grew up, no, it's not a fucking competition. We can all agree it's all pretty fucking horrible. Kids shooting at each other, the daily concern of kid flipping out, coming into the school with a fucking AK-47, and the threat of nuclear annihilation. It's the same ballpark. Is it the same sport? Well, who knows? Or it's the same sport, but it's not, it's not a competition. That's all I'm saying. They're all pretty fucking horrible ways to grow up. And it's, we should be working forward so that future generations can read about this kind of bullshit in history and go, geez, could you imagine growing up with that bullshit? Thankfully, we appreciate and self-reflect and know that our society is more inclusive than that. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, my grandfather was a dynamite man. I was like, well, I've heard my grandfather was a dynamite man as well. He was pretty positive, but people liked him. Shit. Oh man. Ghost Star Man looks. Oh yeah, my great 72 grandpa had to fight mammoths and shit on a daily. Bastard. Beat that. Yeah, he had to fight mammoths. Okay. Ben Ellis. When I first joined the forces, we used to get bomb scares a fair bit, but on the upside, when a bomb threat was made, the camp used to close, and there was a pub outside the base, so a lot of use. Yeah. Well, I mean, we talked about this one in the past, that alcohol and human civilization go hand in hand. Could we have human civilization without alcohol? Because as far back as human record is concerned, as far as humans, creating agriculture and making cities, you know what I mean? Like, alcohol's been there. So, has humanity depended upon, alcohol for a long time? You know what I mean? Like, they hand in hand, apparently. Ben, us would have a beer while waiting for it to open back up. Yeah, Ben Shun, he was a dynamite man, too. Life of the party. Ghost Star Man Deluxe. In retrospect, that joke did not work very well. No, it didn't. All it does is it sounds like you're age shaming him. He's so old he farts dust. Right? I'm just teasing, Ghost. All right, I didn't get a response from Nathaniel because he was here. He was making comments earlier, and I didn't see a response from Nathaniel. So I'm gonna skip it because it's pretty personal. It sounds like something he would share, but it's pretty personal. If he says share it, I'll share it in the next episode. I don't know if this one. You know what? I don't know if he wanted to share this one either, but we're sharing it. So here we go. If you're wearing headphones, turn them up or down, but here it comes. Email time. It's email time. Oh, it's done. Fuck. This one is from our good buddy, Jabba's Left Nut. After talking on Saturday, I got my act together. We were talking last week about making our own custom transfers. And so, basically, Paul got off his ass, and let me switch cameras here, and made some transfers. Now, spoiler, Paul made stickers, and those are going out with Patreon dice. I'm getting packaging them up and sending them out alongside the dice. So expect those soon. And of course, I'll make a Patreon notification about this later. But anybody who already got dice, resubmit your shipping info, and I will send off some stickers to you as well. But anywho, made transfers. Of course, made all sorts of crazy. But look at the various sizes, like the small one, the big one, the little posters here. There's all sorts of crazy crap. And I'm impressed with how well, with these transfers, how well they adhere to the surface, because like it looks like a very textured surface, and the transfers are adhering. Like this one here, like I can see the bumps of the stucco concrete side, and the transfer here is very, very well. I would have thought you used like a solvent, but apparently you didn't. And so yeah, they adhere really, really well. Yeah, the little lines in the mustache on the surface, like on terrain and stuff like that, is not bad. But yeah. This one here I like. It's on a Necron Warrior. A little bit out of focus, but Necron Warrior, we get it. On a Space Marine. You get the little Way of the Brush monkey on a Space Marine. How fun is that? I like this one too. It's on a Turbo Dork banner. The banner, what was the Turbo Dork? It was blue raspberry, I think. And then threw the transfer on there. Really kick-ass. That's a lot of fun. Way of the Brush on the shoulder pad. Classic design. Now, how come this one didn't get the white backing? Just curious. But anywho, that was from Paul. And let's go into this one here. Oh, excuse me. Did you respond to it? I don't know. Ben Ellis, the transfers come out great on the bunker. Yeah, they look really cool. Dark Commission, nice decals, impressive. Yeah. Emerald Phoenix, the poster on the far right, super creepy. Looks like Kris pulling a pedo face. Yeah. Well, again, like I said, AKA Kris, you're being creepy again. Alan, my transfer never looked that good. Yeah, well, usually whenever I get transfers to adhere that well, I usually use a solvent, right? But apparently Paul didn't use solvent. Then he stuck right on. Paul says in the email, what he had done here. I guess I should just read the email. I kind of glossed over because I wasn't 100% sure if it was just more personal type of shit. But anyway, here. After talking on Saturday, I got my act together and ordered some water slide transfer laser paper. Here's the results. The bunker and the Space Marine I picked up from eBay about 5 years ago, so I thought I'd experiment on them. The transfer paper is clear, so I backed them off in white to strengthen the color. This was a mistake as the white didn't go on smoothly, hence the lines just on the mustache. Yeah, I noticed that. But anyway, so I need to turn the white down and try again, but I'm not back to work till Tuesday. The banner is in blue raspberry by Turbo Dork. Looks amazing with the logo. I only used water and a soft brush to apply. I don't have any decal fix. They are also cut to shape, so when they put them in the water, you pull the excess off and have a nice finish on the transfer. Let me know your thoughts, Paul. Sorry about the scabby finger. I do garden chores before I also allowed to hobby. So he's got honeydew stuff to do before he gets to his hobbying, apparently. I was going to make the whoosh sound. I know that's such an asshole thing to say. Whoosh. Anyway, yeah, the transfers. Very cool. Jabba. Didn't get the white backing because I had the white on the wrong layer. Oh, for the last one? Yeah, okay. Yeah, I want those transfer sheets. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, Jabba. I mean, let's let's talk about how we can, what it will cost, you know? I mean, yeah. Let's talk more, Java. Let's talk more. Because, you know, I mean, if we can make something fun for everybody, I kind of would like that. And especially if we can make it, say, fun for the patrons, I think that'd be fun. I think that'd be really fun. Next email is from our good buddy, Stephen Later. Anyway, hello, Kris and monkeys. I've been working my way through a Necromunda gang and wanted to show the 3 that I've got done so far. So let's have a look at Stephen's efforts. Ooh, look at this. Look at this. Let's zoom in a bit. Let's zoom in. Ooh, I like it. I likes it when I get a nice clear image like this. Very, very cool. Escher gang. I still have a bunch of Eschers. I should paint them up. I did one for tutorial way back in the day. I think I did the Goliath and the Escher. Oh, I also did the Van Sar. Did I do anybody else? Anyway. I really like the red one on the left. The one in the middle looks great. I like color. It's all nice and clean, solid, bold. Colors where it should be. Oh, I like you did the hazard lines on the toe on the one on the right. That's impressive. They look really nice and sharp too. That's impressive. I like the hair, the transitions in the hair, and the blue and the green and the red. I really like all those. I like that they have a uniformity to them, right? They kind of have the white on the bra and an element of purple on them, which kind of ties them together, right? They makes them feel like part of the same gang, yet they all are individuals, right, with different colored hair, and, you know, I like that. What's this? Ha 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 ha. Oh, it's kind of a Joker thing. Oh, the one in the middle. It's kind of Joker. Got it. Got it. I get things. Yeah, I like the red one. I like the stocking. Is that kind of like a Harley Quinn vibe? Is that what that is? I'm not that up on a lot of the DC Joker stuff, especially modern kind of stuff. Yeah, really good stuff though. Yeah, I like the stocking. Oh, is that it? I wanted to get a good look at the toe. Yeah, there we go. Sorry, I breezed past this one. I wanted to look more at your work on the toe. Yeah, that's really good. Nice and clean. Really good stuff. I like the little transitions you got in the hair. The eye, the painted eye, looks really good. Yeah. Good stuff. This one here. Yeah. The flesh looks really good. And your bases actually match your the tile on the floor with the board. Like the color palette is really good. Like they look like they're in that environment. Like your color choice was really good with that one. I'm assuming you're going to be playing with these, and they're not just like for display or anything like that, right? Really good stuff, Steven. What time are we at here? Holy crumoly, we're 5 minutes into OT. Thank you, Steven, for sending that in. Awesome stuff. I like it. And please send more. Just a quick check of the comments here. Did I miss anything? Black Keep Gaming. How do you prevent transfers from frosting on the edges? It happens a couple of times. The nuts and bolts of it. I've done a few tutorials on transfers, but here's pretty much the nuts and bolts of it. When you're going to lay down transfers, okay? Now, usually, transfers, sometimes you might have to pre-cut them so they conform to a rounded shape. Usually rounded shapes are pretty bad. If you want transfers to fall within panel lines, here's how we do it, okay? Once you've base coated, painted the area, highlighted, done all that stuff, and typically transfers are like at the end of painting, but that's not a hard and fast rule, because I mean you can do base coating, highlighting, and then throw a transfer on and then continue to weather and things of that nature, you know. So it's not a hard rule that transfers are at the end phase of a model. Just, throw them in whatever part you want. So typically transfers sit on top of a glossy surface better. So it's better to put a gloss coat on top, or if the paint finishes very glossy, the model will adhere very well. But if you're laying base coats down and you're still leaving a lot of brush strokes behind and things like that, you want a nice smooth surface. That's why a gloss coat is preferable. So put a gloss coat down, then you slap your transfer down. Typically, whenever I'm doing transfers, I usually throw a little cap full of vinegar into my water solution, and I usually only do like a minimal layer, typically on a plate, and just in that dip in the plate is usually enough water to just get a transfer loosened. I usually add a capful to that, and then I place the transfer in. I usually use tweezers and a paintbrush. Usually just my utility type paintbrush. I don't use my good paintbrushes that come to a nice fine point. I use a brush that usually I draw paint out with. Usually it's the shade wash brush, but any brush like that size. With tweezers, I usually take the transfer. I wet the surface really quickly, not soaking wet, but just a quick little brush of water on the surface, and then with the tweezers and the brush, I slide the transfer out, like the transfer paper out from under the transfer onto the surface, and then as the transfer is sitting there, I take the brush. I usually dry it off quickly, and then squeegee out. Use the bristles to squeegee out the excess water out from under the transfer. Right? Do it a few times so you get all the water out from under the transfer, and so it's adhering right to the surface. Once we're in that phase, and I'm confident that all the water's out, there might be a bit of crinkle. That is okay. But as long as you've gotten a majority of the crinkle out of the transfer, then I usually use a product like Walthers. I actually just resupplied myself. I actually picked up 2 bottles because I'm dangerously low on my Walthers right here. And I had this bottle for ages. You can see I'm really low in my Walthers. Anywho, so I'm good to go with my decal. But I use this stuff, Walthers Decal Set, Solvaset. Walthers. This is my favorite stuff. I've used Microsol, but Walthers is my preferred. I use that generously, let it on the surface, and then put the model aside. Do not touch it. Leave it for like an hour, and let the Solvaset do its job. Basically what it does is it kind of just melts the transfer into the surface, and if there's like panel lines where the transfer is running over, it'll fall within those panel lines and gives you the best adhesion. Then once that is fully done, and of course when the edges are kind of like crinkly and frosted, usually that doesn't happen because you have that gloss coat underneath, the transfer will adhere right to the surface. Then you can put a gloss coat on top of that, or finish it off with a matte varnish, and it'll make that transfer look like it's right part of that model surface, and it looks like it was painted on. And that's usually the best way to go about it. In a nutshell, that's quickly how I would do transfers. The Heretic Scott. Need to get some Necromunda guys at some point. Look cool, and some would make for some nice Chaos Cultists. Oh, definitely. The Corpse Grinders. Corpse Grinders are perfect for cultists. Or hell, even Gene Stealer Cult. You can, if you collect Gene Stealer Cult for 40k or Kill Team, you can bring them into Necromunda. No problems. Old Man Logan. I've had pretty good luck with Microsol and Microset. Would say, what would you say is the difference between that and Walthers? I just find that sometimes with at least when I was using the Microsol stuff, that it wasn't melting the transfer well. I found that even like with like tiny rivets and panel lines, stuff like that, that with the Walthers, it was consistent all the way through. It just made that now, mind you, when I use this stuff, I like, like when you get like a drop of water on a surface and it's just kind of boink, sitting there, that's almost the amount of what I use. So it's quite a bit, and it takes like an hour for it to dry off. And you do not play with the transfer at all. Do not touch it. You'll be tempted to move it. If it's misaligned. Too bad. Don't move it, because you'll just tear the transfer and destroy it, and you'll be pissed off, and you'll have to start over again. So yeah. But that's what I found. I found that it melts that transfer far better, especially GW transfers. And it makes them disappear right into the surface. And then once you put that layer of either gloss or matte on top, Perfect. Black Keep Gaming. It usually happens with the older GW transfers with a lot of extra overhang on the edges. Yeah. A lot of those older transfers, yeah, they do often have like the ultramarine symbol, right? And it'll have huge border around it. And if you're using, like I said, if you the whole procedure I laid out, if you do that, and like I said, I have a few tutorials on it. You can scrounge them up. Yeah, if you follow that, you should have no problems. And I use I have a full box. It's not close by somewhere, but anyway, I got a box. It's just full of transfers. I even have transfers from like my old Rhino. They're old blue ones. They're old. I have transfers from way back in the day, and I always say, "Oh, I'll use these for this and that," and I never get around to it. But anyway, yeah, if you follow that procedure I just quickly laid out, and like I said, I have videos on it. You follow it, and you should be fine. How do you correct it? If you find that that's occurring, can you correct it? You could try thin layers of gloss varnish on top and try and smooth that out. You could, in theory. No, you probably, especially if you're under, because it all depends on what's under the transfer, right? What is that transfer sitting on? And if you ever laid a transfer on a surface and saw like an air bubble, that's because you have an uneven surface. That transfer wants a nice slick surface to stick to. And that way, when you squeegee out all the water, none of that happens, right? So it's all about your preparation. Again, good fundamentals. It's always about good fundamentals. If you want to go further with your miniature painting and get better, you have to do the fundamental stuff well, right? Preparing the model, priming the model, and base coating the model. You have to get good at those for your good end results. It always starts at the very beginning. Of course, too, transfers that, are kind of marred up and stuff like that, can also be manufacturing, but I often, when you're talking about painting and stuff like that, it could be bad batch, right? That word gets thrown around a lot. Bad batch. It was a bad batch. I just don't often like to go there first. I like to rule out other possibilities before finally blaming the manufacturing process, right? So it's like baking. You don't blame the flour first. Well, what'd you miss? Did you mix it properly? Did you use the right amount of ingredients? Did you do this? Did you do that? You did all that, right? No, it might have been the flour. Maybe it was a bad batch of flour, right? You want to eliminate all the possibilities before getting to that. Black Keep Gaming, thanks. Putting transfers on Gazgal. As I suck at freehand checkers, I'll give it a shot. Yeah, you want to, even if you have even a slightly bumpy base coated surface, say you're just not quite there yet as far as laying a nice smooth base coat down, laying that layer of gloss, just take a layer of ard coat. Not heavy, just take an even amount, lay it on the surface, get it nice and smooth. If you can see the light, it giving you almost a mirror reflection of light bouncing off that surface, then it's nice and smooth. Okay, it doesn't have to be very thick, but just so long as it's smooth. It doesn't have to be mirror. You can still see, a slight wave to it, but as long as it's not bumpy, right? And as long as it's painted. If you're putting the transfer on top of primer or a matte surface, yeah, you will get those pockets of air underneath it. That's why we have to put gloss down, because gloss is going to give you a nice, smooth, slick surface, and that transfer is going to sit on top of that surface nicely, right? It's like, you ever play with those window cling stickers, right? They're just clear bits of plastic with a printed image on them, right? Same kind of idea. It sticks to glass really easily, right? You ever think it would try and stick to wall paint? Not so much. Why? Because the wall paint has a slight matte finish to it. There's pockets of air under it. That thing can't cling to it. Clings to window, no problem. Why? Because the window is much more smoother. And that's why. And the transfer is the same way. The decal is the same way. Nice smooth surface, adheres. Nice and even, right? Matte surface, bumpy surface, not so much. Using the Solvaset to even that out, that just helps and enhances. And like I said, when you put that final varnish on top of it, boom, it looks like it was painted right onto that surface. So using the the checkers to do that for you. Yeah, if you got a nice smooth surface, you just put a layer of gloss down, put the transfer down, squeegee out the excess water, let it. Well, if you get the Solvaset, I mean, you can do it just without the Solvaset. Just the Solvaset helps with like rivets and panel lines and stuff like that. That's why you want it, the Solvaset, right? If you're not that concerned about it, you'll be fine. But once it's fully dry, then you hit it with a layer of gloss or varnish or matte varnish, and it looks like it's right into the surface, and it'll be good. And yeah, so black keep, yeah. But like I said, the procedure I laid out, just follow that. You should be good. And of course, send pics. Send pics of your efforts. Send pics of what you were talking about, exactly what was going wrong, and then let me know if that helped out for you and helps you. And because using transfers, like I like using transfers. I can freehand all the live long day. But I like using transfers. I prefer to use transfers because, I mean, doing a chapter symbol across 50 models, doing it freehanded gives me no enthusiasm, no joy. In fact, it fills me with dread. And, transfers, I love transfers because, especially, just laying down that nice even procedure, and bang, when you lay that final varnish on top of it, and the transfer looks great. And then of course you get into like weathering the transfer or putting highlights on the transfer or stuff like that. It only enhances it, and it makes it easier. It makes life easier for you. So one-offs, sure, freehand. Got like a squad of them? No, transfers all the way. So getting good at doing transfers is important. It'll make your hobbying life better. It'll give you more joy, and we should always want to get better at this stuff because, we're using our time effectively and we're enjoying ourselves. We're having fun with it, right? When you're not unhappy with the results, it doesn't make you feel good. Yeah, you feel awful. You're like, oh, well, why didn't it work like this? Why? Oh, man, and you just want to get good. And so, yeah, take the time. But getting good takes time and practice. And you got to keep doing it, You'll eventually get there. If you were just muddling about this by yourself and not, looking to the internet and stuff like that, yeah, you'd eventually get good at it. But, thankfully there's many sources of information out there, and, yeah. Anywho. Another email because holy cramolies, we're 20 after. Holy crap. This one's from our good buddy Dark Commission. Hi, Mighty One. Here is a new bust. She is Arena. Is that how you say that? Arena Meyer? Anyway, by scale 75. She is in the name series Naughty Gears. As my previous scale 75 busts, Captain Ahab and Joe Cassidy, I am really enjoying my painting and so glad I have gotten back into it after a long hiatus. All CNC are most welcome. As always, cheers, John, aka Dark Commission. And right off the hop, looking at that is just freaking fantastic. Let's go with this one right there. There we go. Why does it look like it's a little elevated? Oh, screw it. Right away, first thoughts. Nice and clean. The skin is fantastic. Her face looks awesome. The goggles, those are sparkling. And I absolutely love you did translucent fabric on her forearm and on her cuff. That is fantastic. Oh, look at it's like a little opal in her belt. Oh, that's really nice. I didn't notice that. I had a quick look at these earlier, but I never noticed that it was like an opal effect. The first thing right away is the translucent fabric. Awesome. That's actually something that I have yet to do myself, I think. I don't think I've ever done a translucent effect on a miniature, and it's a rare opportunity that I get to do that, or showcase it, or play with it, or practice it. And it's something when I see it on miniatures, that's something that I'm like, yeah, that looks really fantastic. Or sometimes it's like, oh, that doesn't quite work. But here, I think it looks fantastic, and it works very well, especially on it looks like almost like lace on her cuff. It looks fantastic. Immediately, my thought is that that's a translucent fabric. And that's obviously where you want to be when doing it. Now, her eyes, I've known girls who had that look in their eyes, and it fills me with dread. The hair looks good. I think the highlights could do a bit more of a wave. You know how it's like, you see like on her shoulder, and you see how some of the highlight falls the same level of brightness down into the fold, like where it curves down towards the end. I think it could be a little darker in those points and just bring a little bit more to where how her hair is falling on her shoulder, and like how it bunches up close to her headband. You know what I mean? Like just some of those highlights where just being a little bit more deliberate and where we're applying it. Yeah, I've seen that look before. That's when I knew I was in trouble. In fact, yeah, I married that look. You can't tell here because her eyes are kind of in shadow, and I'm okay with that. But over here, yeah, that look in those eyes, yeah, I've seen that look. I married that look. I like the belt. I like the opal. That's really cool. Again, it's nice and clean. Anything I would critique, the leather, the main bodies of leather, that slight purpley brown hue. I think a little bit more texture, a little bit more of that leather that I saw in for other examples previously. I think could have been, brought there. But otherwise, no, I think it's wonderful. And the hair. But otherwise, yeah, really fantastic work. It looks excellent, man. I really enjoy it. And you know what? Honestly, I think maybe I'm a little bit jelly that you've got some nice translucency there, and that's something that I've not really played around with lots. It's in fact, the model I had done the blonde hair on, it was a model for Pathfinder. I was thinking about doing her dress to look like translucency. I just haven't gotten around to it. And as far as how I can see my schedule at the moment, getting painting tutorials done, it could be months and months before I get to that, showing that and playing with that. Yeah, because my dance card is pretty full at the moment, and with with new Warhammer 40,000 coming around the corner, yeah, I'm not sure I'm gonna get to it. All right, last email. What time are we at here? Holy camolies. Let's see if we can get it done before 2:30. Unless, of course, we get really caught up in this email. But this one is from our good buddy Lewis, a.k.a. the Heretic Scott. Hello again, Monkey Lord. I had a few secondhand Necwan Warrior left over, which were beyond repair, so it seemed like a good opportunity to try making some flayed ones. Screw the fine cast models. The flesh was made using milliput, and the gore was done the same way you did your corpse grinders. The uhu, yeah, it's uhu, right? Set really wow. The uhu set really fast once I added the blood, so it took a bit of practice, but I really like the effect you get. Let me know what you think. Thanks as always, Heretic Scott, aka Lewis. Anybody who doesn't get why I'm saying it like that, it's from Jackie Brown. If you've watched Jackie Brown, holy shit, look at these. These are gory as hell. Yeah, it's from Jackie Brown. Anyway, I like the flesh. It's freaking gross. I think after it had set, or during when it was setting, I think we could have tattered up some of the edges in places. Some of it looks a little too neat, and I think if you tattered it up a bit more, like on the middle guy here, how it's hanging near his elbow, it's disgusting. It's gross. I can see it. But like, for example, the buddy on the left hand side, it looks a little too neat, and buddy on the right, how it's hanging over his face and everything like that, the edge is a little neat, and same with on his arm, it looks a little neat. I think if you tattered that up a bit more, I think it would look really freaking disgusting. Oh man, I'm getting sick. No, I'm just kidding. I've skinned animals, man. This doesn't bother me at all. I've butchered animals. I have no aversion to blood, as I'm sure some of you out there have. Anywho, yeah, I like it. Yeah, I'm just kind of taking it all in. I like that the way you got this slight. I'm not so much caught by the flesh. I'm actually more caught with how I'm seeing blue and almost this brown purple look on the armor, on the metal. What did you do for that? Because I like that. I like it, the highlights. I see this blue green, but I see this purpley brown at recesses, and I like that look on the metal. What did you do for that? And I see almost like on the armor here, like on the claws, it almost looks like you used like nilic oxide, this blue green. I'm curious what you did for your Necrons, because I like it. I like it. Yeah, buddy on the left with that poker there with the flesh and stringy bits. Yeah, that's gross. Yeah, see, like here on the hood here on the guy. Okay, I kind of get what you're kind of going for there. Like it's cleaner on the one side and it's all rough in the back side. I think it just, would add to the gore. Yeah, see on the back side you have this really roughed edge. I just don't see it on some points. Or unless, of course, maybe you're depicting it like it's a fold over, maybe? I don't know. Let me see if there's any comments here from the Heretic Scott. I don't see anything from the Heretic Scott. Oh yeah, he's on Twitch, so you should be able to respond pretty quick. Anyway, you know what? I love the splatters as well. I'm more caught up in how you did the metal and what you did with that metal. I mean, it's fantastic work on the gore and the fleshy bits. But I'm more caught up in that metal. See, like, are you guys all seeing this? Like, am I looking at that right? Like, I'm seeing like these blues and the metals, and I see this like purpley brown, and then I see the turquoise. I like all this color going on in the metals. I like that. I mean, yeah, the fleshy bits are really, and gore and stuff like that's fun too, but I'm more caught up with the metal. You've got Scott, Lewis. Lewis, you got to tell me what you did there, buddy. I'm on pins and needles here. You gonna leave me hanging here, bro, or what? Dr. Commission, love that great Uhu gore effect. Yeah, I like the Uhu effect. It's fast, it's easy, and it gets that really great stringy gore. And it is, if you do it fairly thick, it is very durable. It'll last on a model very well. I did it on my corpse grinders, and handling them, it handles fine. But I did some that are like really heavy. If you do like really fine stringies, they might not last, but yeah. Go Star next. Kris has a crush on the model. I don't have a crush on the model. I married it. That look in her eyes, I married that look. I know that look. That's why I was like, oh wait, I've seen that look. Yeah, because I married it. And usually she looks at me with that look when I'm being creepy. Oh shit. It's a good thing she never watches this show. Oh, what's this? Oh, you made my daughter made banana bread? Is that what this is?
Yeah, with nutmeg and cinnamon.
Nutmeg and cinnamon. She made banana bread.
It tastes pretty nutmeggy.
It tastes pretty nutmeggy, according to her. Well then. Ooh. It's still warm. I was just thinking of anybody who's watched Van Wilder. They're eating the donuts. Oh, it's still warm. I think I've had this before. Anyway, if you don't know what I'm talking about, look that scene up. Holy shit, that's good. All right, I'm definitely going to be ending the show shortly here. I don't want to talk with food in my mouth, but saleswoman from hell, Kris saying that flesh is great, and I've skinned animals very enthusiastically. Yeah. Yeah. Man. Skinning like partridge and rabbit. Now, mind you, they're not gory like that. Skinning deer and moose, yeah, that gets a little gory. My dad one time, he he quartered up this moose, and he did it with a chainsaw. Because son of a bitch, she was huge. She was a big cow. She was huge. Have you ever never seen a moose? Like how big those animals are? They're prehistoric in their size. They're huge. These are huge, huge mammals. And their bones, like their leg bones, are like that thick. They're like small trees. Okay, these animals are no joke. They can, like, when they get running in the bush, they can just trample stuff. It's like a freight train through the woods, and they'll just knock down trees, and they'll just take off. And you can't imagine that with those big antlers on their head and everything like that. And yeah. So anywho, moose are impressive animals, and you get one, and you're good for the season. Like you get one moose, you're eating through the whole winter, which is the point. Anyway, yeah, the old man, he quartered up the cow, and he used a chainsaw. And I got into this conversation, I think it was with Scott. I got into this conversation about butchering and about, like the gore and like the little bits and stuff like that, and using a chainsaw and like what it would look like, using a chainsaw on flesh, because the corpse grinders have that big buzzsaw, and what would it look like using that buzzsaw on somebody? Well, I kind of have an idea of what it would look like using a buzzsaw on flesh, and I've seen it, and it's not as bad as you think. It looks like somebody was actually covered in like popcorn. Because when you go through the sinew and blood and stuff like that, and the bone, yeah, because a chainsaw through bone, it just goes into like a fine like particle. Like it just looks, it looks like popcorn. But yeah, the old man, I watched that time there. He was just covered in. He looked like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre because he was just covered in gore. It was just like those little bits of flesh, and and his hair. Yeah, it was just brutal. It was pretty funny though. It was educational, definitely. It was definitely educational. I think he only did it once in all the time. Yeah, he only did it once. I don't know why he used the chainsaw. Probably to try it. I don't know why he did it though. Yeah. Anyway. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. Kris, I'm trying to eat here. Hold on, I show those gory Necrons, and no words. But I talk about a buzzsaw going through moose flesh, and you're somehow distraught. Anyway, Greg, when a regular saw just won't do. No, well, yeah, because I guess he's used hacksaws before, and just kind of get through. Because like some of the joints, like where the like the shoulder muscles and everything like that connect up to the spine, that's really, really dense material there. I'm trying to think, because like cutting through like the abdomen and like getting the hindquarters off, that's no problem. So you're just going through spine, really. You don't go through the pelvis, you go through the spine. But like quartering up through the pelvis, yeah, that's a tough one. And I'm pretty sure that's the way he did it too, is he came up, because he was going through the pelvis all the way up to the neck. Yeah. Anyway. Good times. Good times. I miss that guy. I'll see him again one day. Black, keep gaming. I'll never look at popcorn the same again. Yeah. Greg, when a regular saw just won't do, yeah, they're fiction. They're fiction. Go Starman Deluxe. Somehow the description is more unpleasant. I guess. I don't know. Old Man Logan. I had popcorn last night. Now I think I'm about ready to give it back. Dark Commission, when the butcher shop is shut. Yeah, I don't remember why he used a chainsaw though. It was the only one time I remember. It was the only time he used a chainsaw. It was once. But the image obviously is burned into my memory because we butchered many animals. And that's the only time I remember the chainsaw. I wasn't that young. I was in my teens. Anyway. Fire Jerky Team. When you're hungry now and the chainsaw is the only thing that will do. Yeah, well, I mean, we weren't like starving or anything like that. It was because we were all happy that, you know, we had moose meat for the winter. Like, we were happy about that one. And we only hunted. You know, we didn't hunt for, like, you know, for sport. That's bullshit. Hunt to eat. And you eat as much as you can. And the rest you give away to family. Like, procedure is... Okay, I'll share something about Ojibwe culture. Procedure is that when you bag an animal, kill an animal, okay? Typically, the hunters who got the animal, when dividing up the meat, the hunter gets to pick, you know, the parts they want. Then the elders get to pick what parts they want. And then family and friends, you know, obviously get the rest. And you usually divide up the animal. That's modern tradition. You know, when a moose is bagged, because there's like a moose provides so much meat. Like you only, like, the amount of meat you take is the amount of meat that you can reasonably see lasting throughout to the spring. It usually lasts longer, but yeah, you only need that much, and especially in these modern times we live in. Yeah, you only need till spring, so you don't only need a couple of roasts, you know, stuff like that, stuff you're gonna make into sausage. Maybe you smoke and dry. Oh man, I'm gonna make myself more hungry here. And then yeah, so that's typically how you know, a kill is divided up, and you divide it up. You don't, like, when you get a deer or something like that, that's not all you. It's usually you and your buddies, family, you know. Of course, if you do it right, it's you make a couple choice picks, and then you let the elders take what they want, and then of course everybody else gets whatever's left, and that's usually the right way to do things, you know. Greg, Chainsaw Blues from a moose's point of view. Yeah, well. Dark Commission. I get the impression that if civilization falls, then Kris will do just fine. Yeah, I mean, I'll miss this. And, you know, I'll miss giving a shit about miniatures, but I can give them up. Need be? Yeah. No, I'm, you know, if I need to sleep outside and, you know, make a fire and, you know, whatever. The only thing is, though, is I would not look forward to that first winter. Oof, that'd be hard. And winters in North America are hard and cold. Kill you. It's no joke, winters in North America. If you've not experienced North American winters, you know when they talk about, like, when they're trying to invade Russia and it stops? Well, it's that kind of shit. Now, mind you, not all North America experiences winter, but the parts of us and the parts that do, yeah, we know. Black Geek Gaming. Yeah, I agree. Hunting to feed the family, hunting for sport or trophies is cruel and pointless. Definitely. Now, hunting and feeding the family, but also if I collect the horn, the bone, the hide, and I do something with it, well, you know what I mean? Like if I showcase the horns, you know, that's not a bad thing, because there's nothing wrong with, you know, taking a little bit of pride in what you did, right? And also display of prowess too, especially if it was a very large animal and, you know, you went through great pains to get it, and, you know, that animal was remembered fondly by everybody because everybody had full stomachs throughout the winter. You know, there's no shame in that. There's nothing wrong with that, in my view anyway. But killing it solely just so for that set of horns and then letting the carcass behind to rot, that's a sin. That is a sin. And you usually pay for that sin, because I mean, we don't really, believe in karma, but I know karma is a real thing. Karma will bite you in the ass. Headshots. I hate them, and I live here my whole life. The winners? Yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, Canadian winners? Oof, no joke. No joke. Holy shit, it's already 41 minutes. Here I am, still eating this bread, talking to you guys. I think I was kind of hangry earlier, because I feel kind of warm and sweaty. And I've had my fan running, and I'm out of coffee. So, yeah, I think I was getting a little hangry. So my daughter showed up just in time, thankfully. I got good kids. I think, anyway. I don't know. Even though they're freaking adults and they still fight like they're damn kids. Kids. Damn kids. Alrighty. So, if you're brand new to this hobby and you want a little help with your color scheme or paint job or a particular brush technique or whatever it is aspect about this hobby that might be troubling you, or you just want to show off what you're working on, maybe a commission painting service, or you just, want to show off what you're working on, send your emails to Kris@wayofthebrush.com. If you send pictures, send them as attachments in the email. Don't send it off as links to other sites, because I won't do it. So, also in the description below is a link to wayofthebrush.com, central hub of all this silliness. It has links for all the social medias as well as Discord. Join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. We keep the conversation rolling there 24/7, so feel free to join us on Discord. It's a lot of fun. Also at wayofthebrush.com is links for t-shirts. Want to get yourself a t-shirt? Look like a connoisseur of all that is good and holy in this world? They're wearing a Way of the Brush t-shirt. And of course, if you purchase yourself a shirt, send a picture of yourself in your shirt, and I will add it to the Monkey Shrine, which is also at wayofthebrush.com, because it's nice to put a name to the face and a face to the name. Why not? Also at wayofthebrush.com is a link for Patreon support. Big thank you to all the patrons who currently support me. Without their support, a lot of this just wouldn't be happening, or be a lot worse, or just not as good. Be kind of crappy. Helps me kind of stay professional. And of course, if you're considering Patreon support, huge thank you. There are varying tiers to support at, and just click whatever sounds good to you, and big thank you. Now there are some perks to some of the tiers, so whatever looks valuable to you, and of course huge thank you. And if you're not able to support monetarily, i.e. money, clicking thumbs up, liking, following, subscribing, sharing this video all help as well. It's all about engaging with the video, and it all helps, because it's just the way these freaking algorithms work. And then all it takes is a couple clicks of a button, and you help me out tremendously. So huge thank you. Big thank you to Carl, aka Guy Meir Allfair, aka Beer and Blood Bowl. That's his YouTube channel. Check him out if you love yourself some beer and you love yourself some Blood Bowl. Beer and Blood Bowl is where it's at. We always take time to thank Carl for making the email jingles that play before the email segment of the show. That always brings a smile to our faces. So always much love for Carl. And of course, speaking of love, big thank you to my baby brother Evan for taking the time out of his busy day to create the intro-outro music that plays at the beginning and end of the show. Always much love. And of course, he also made the intro music for our game nights, which is a live stream we do on Twitch on Mondays. Almost said Fridays. Mondays. I don't post those to YouTube because, man, we get kind of mean there. We talk a lot of shit, and yeah, we get kind of mean. And Scott gets really salty. It's fun. We have fun. We're just gaming. We're just talking. And, try to keep it mostly civil, but it's not the kind of stuff I'd post to YouTube, though. That's okay on Twitch, because it's just live streaming, and eventually it just disappears and it's gone, right? So, But he made the intro music for that because he's a musician and he makes really great music, and without beating him over the head of it, I wish he'd make more. So, but what can you do? Any last thoughts from anybody? Ghost Starman Deluxe. Kris streams where people just eat our thing. Well, eat and chat. Oh, me just sitting here eating bread and just talking? Yeah, just sitting here. I don't know if you guys would tune in for that kind of crap. I'd probably attract some other strange audience doing that. Same with like the ASMR. People tell me about the ASMR. Do ASMR. I'm like, I don't know about that. But yeah. Alrighty, we're done. We've had a little bit of fun today. Yeah, did GW really not post much today? Oh no, they finally did. Here we go. Okay, quick little check-in with the GW side of things. Just because, you know, we're wargaming related, right? Ish, sort of. So, yeah, we can get these two little characters here. I'm not terribly excited about that character. The Sister of Battle is pretty darn cool. But the Harlequin I'm not, 100% on. And of course this dude here is pretty cool. This guy here with the soul getting ripped out of Buddy's body here is just pretty darn neat. I like the sculpt. This is pretty darn cool. It's a lot of fun. But anywho, the Inquisitor is pretty cool too. Special edition book. Oh, look at that. It's got like a little Sister of Battle sealant. That is cool. That's cool. That's very cool. And it comes with a little wax. That is neat. Huh. It's a little fleur-de-lis stamp and wax. That is cool. That's different. I like that. And it fits the whole aesthetic of, Sisters of Battle and the whole church thing and all that vibe, right? Oh, is that it? Yeah, that's it from the GW side of things. That's all they've got going on this week. Until they, finish ramping up the 9th edition stuff, right? When does that get released? Does anybody know? I don't even know. I don't even know. Do I even Warhammer? Yo, do you even Warhammer, bro? Ghost Starman Deluxe. Random idea. It would be pretty cool to do some kind of Discord movie night. I'm definitely picking up the new Caesara? Discord movie night. Kind of like Mystery Theater 3000? Is that what we're talking about? Where I sit there and make jokes the whole time? Or we just sit there and watch a movie and just talk? It'd be kind of fun, but I don't know if it'd be like... I don't know. Yeah, it's definitely something. It's definitely something. We'll talk more. Let's talk more on Discord. Fire Drake 18, I've learned the Highlander rule exists, and that's how you get better at painting. There can be only one, yeah. Black Keep Gaming, keep hearing sometime in July. Yeah, something like that, right? Aaron Seach, I heard the end of July, around the 25th for 9th edition. Really? Around the 25th? We gotta wait like almost a month? Man. Ben Ellis, 9th, mid next month at about £120 from what I've been told. Interesting. Fire Drake 18, Netflix party is a thing. Do it. Oh yeah, Netflix. We just pick up an episode, something on that. But see, the thing is, some of you guys are in different countries, and there's regional Netflixes. Because I know, like, Canadian Netflix is different from American Netflix. It doesn't have the same library. American Netflix rules, unless, of course, we all go through a VPN. But if I go through a VPN, it probably would introduce a lot of latency, I think. So, I don't know. Yeah, we'll see. It's something we can try. Jabba's Left Nut. My girlfriend said that's a great idea. Can the first one be Aladdin? Like the original Disney Aladdin or the remake that was recently came out? Because I'm not sitting through that POS again. The original animated version? Yeah, 100%. I'm in. The remake that came out like a year or two ago? Fuck no. I'm not watching that piece of shit. Screw it. Not doing it. No way. But if that's the one that your girlfriend's saying that let's watch that one, Jabba's Left Nut, the remake. Seriously? I'm sorry, Jabba. That was a piece of shit. I was terribly disappointed that I don't even know why they made that one. I don't even know why. I mean, unless you're are you playing with me? Because I went on a rant one day on Way of the Brush talking about that. Now I think you're messing with me now. Ben Ellis, Nightfall would be good if you need something to watch. Nightfall would be good if you need something to watch. Nightfall? I don't know what Nightfall is. I'm not up on TV shows and movies because, I don't know, just, again, remember earlier when I was talking about just kind of disconnecting from everything and just, you know what I mean? Like, because there's nothing there. Yeah, like you, I see such a horrible lack of originality in so much stuff. And the things that are original, you know, it's kind of hard. They got to kind of sell me on it. And oftentimes when I watch like a trailer to a movie or something like, or a trailer to a TV show, they end up showing so much. And it's like, well, and I lose interest. And of course, there's some sort of formula that they're going by that I'm just kind of, no, sorry, no. Ghost Starman Deluxe, the remake. Kris loads his shotgun. Yeah, I'm gonna shoot myself. Fire 18, maybe something from the 80s, even 90s. I mean, I like even current stuff. I mean, like on Netflix right now. I mean, I want to watch this Snowpiercer show. I watched the movie. I loved the movie. The movie was great. But as far as I understand, the TV show is not based on the movie. It's something. It's like a reimagining or something like that. I don't know, but I'm still on board. I'm still gonna check it out. I just haven't sat down to watch it. You know, there's lots of stuff that I haven't watched, and there's a lot of stuff I have zero interest in watching. It's not doesn't do it for me. You know. Dark Commission. I'm old fashioned. I'd watch El Cid, Spartacus, or some such. Spartacus was alright. I'm not familiar with El Cid. You know, are we gonna sit there and watch Ben-Hur? I like 10 Commandments. 10 Commandments is a good one. Cleopatra, right? We'll watch one of them classic epics. Ben Ellis, Templar based TV on Netflix. Dirty and Dark. Oh no, I'm not familiar with it. Kirk Douglas, The Vikings. Nope, not familiar with that one. Black Keep Gaming. Remakes and reboots have been so disappointing. Yeah. David Vega, Starship Troopers. I just watched that one. I don't know if I'd watch it again right away. I mean, like, you know, pace myself, right? I mean, I enjoy it, but, you know, got to pace yourself too. You don't want to burn yourself over on stuff you love. It's like, you know, chocolate ice cream, right? A scoop here and there. It's great stuff. Love it, right? And look forward to the next time you get to have it. But then when you sit there and eat a whole carton of it, right? It's you feel ill and just you're like, you swear off it, and it's like months, maybe years before you touch it again, right? So it's best not to overdo it. Moderation. Aaron Seach, Monkey Watch Party, B-movie, sci-fi from the 50s. Now, see, that might be fun, where we could sit there and just kind of and bash on a movie, or even just current movies too. We just sit there and bash on current movies. Possibly. Yeah. Ghost of Starman Deluxe. We could go through all the movies Kris considered required viewing. Ah, that's a good one, right? Because then you'd finally watch They Live. Saleswoman from Hell. Ricky O. The Story of Ricky. I'm not familiar with that one. Fire Drake 18, Dark Crystal series. I watched the Dark Crystal series. That was good. I enjoyed it. I look forward to more. David Vega, it's a trilogy. The Nightfall show? Yeah, it's a trilogy? I don't know. Fire Drake 18. Ricky O is feeling awesome. Ricky O gets my vote. Oh man. Dark Commission. I use 50s sci-fi films for my techno music samples. Yeah, I know. I caught that one, the last one there. Aaron Seach, Clash of the Titans, not the garbage remake. Yeah, you know, my son, he prefers the original Clash of the Titans over, you know, the 2 remake movies that, yeah, were garbage. Yeah. Ghost Star Man Deluxe. Was gonna watch They Live when you sent me the YouTube link. Unfortunately, it's blocked in the UK. Yeah, nice excuse, buddy. Dark Christian Jason the Argonauts. Holy shit! I already went through my ending spiel. It's almost 3. Good God, people! Got me talking about all sorts of crazy crap. Alrighty, I'm out of here. You guys enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully, you guys are, staying safe, washing your hands, not touching your faces, and when going out into populated areas, or even just basically going outside, really, into anywhere near people, wear a mask. Just be considerate. Wear a mask. Again, the masks, a lot of people, it's really quite strange. The mask thing. A lot of people are up in arms about this mask thing. And it's not about you. It's about protecting the person next to you. That's what the mask is for. It's again, like I said, when I said it early on when this whole pandemic thing was really ramping up, that this is a lesson in empathy. That's what this is all about. And realistically, it displays, and you see it a lot, especially in America, the lack of empathy. Look how, like, man, the world is going to have to cut off America because COVID-19 is just running rampant. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Anywho, hug a loved one. Go do something positive. Or, you know what? Just chill out. Watch some Netflix. Catch up on your favorite TV show, man. Whatever it is. Just, be a force for positive. Be a blessing to others. Be a blessing to others. That's about it. Alrighty. Take care of your brushes. They'll take care of you. And I will see you guys later. I will. No matter what occurs, I'll find you. Remember Last of the Mohicans? Just before he dies out from the waterfalls. No matter what occurs, I'll find you. Anyway, I fucked up the line, but got a nice crust. really good.